Hello, everybody. My name is Khroen, and this is Boop with me, bringing you Fight Night Rising, brought to you by Wisdom. And we're on a new patch, Boop 11.19, here to see how things are shaping up today and shaking up the meta. I know we had a new winner for, it feels like, first time in a long time with UCAR last week. And honestly, we were talking about it then, but all top three players really were impressive to us. So really excited and ready to see more. But how are you doing, Boop? What are you looking forward to today?
I'm doing great. I believe Jose is 2 weeks away from tying Gunmay. It's either 2 or just
True.
1 week away from tying Gunmay's record there for most consecutive fight nights ever. And I think Gunmay got that in set 3. So it's been a while because I think Battlecasts were around at that point. So
Oh man.
at the end of it. So I'm really excited to see if Jose is going to be able to tackle yet another lobby. He was playing really flexibly last week, which actually showed some more knots in that game plan than I think we wanted. So hopefully we, got to get some of those knots out and we can go into this lobby even stronger than last week.
That is true. Jose being flexible. I mean, we know and we saw him play Nocturne for many weeks, but now he's still a good player. Just has to kind of relearn how to play the game quote unquote normally and not be a one trick forcer. But speaking of Jose, speaking of UCAR, let's go ahead and introduce them again as well as the rest of the players here tonight. We have UCAR, we have Jose, and Spherical was our third place player last week. And then joining them, we'll have QB Knight, Daijo Boo. That's so Frodan, actually. Frodan, one of the
Who?
TFT casters.
Who's that?
That's
I've
so
never heard of that guy.
Frodan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know of
crazy.
I know of Raven, but Frodan, interesting.
True, that is
Yeah,
so Raven,
that's so
but
Raven.
not today. It's Frodan making an appearance. That would be really interesting to see Frodan in that position on that show. Anyways, we have two more players, Elmons 22 and Baruba to round out the lobby. See how these players are gonna make a splash and if they're going to take the title away from UCAR.
So let's go ahead and just talk about it. Frodan is here, friends. So Frodan will either disappoint or make every caster proud after today. That's admirable. I think got 2 weeks in, got a top 3 the first week. So I
True.
believe, and Bryce, I think, has come 3 or 4 weeks. So amongst casters, I believe Bryce has the longest stay so far, and that's what Frodan's going to be looking for. And I know they're really good friends too. So who's gonna be the longest lasting caster in Fight Night? Could be Frodan starting today.
It could be. The rain, potential rain, does start today. Speaking of the rain, they're going to be raining over some of their portion of the prize pool. $200 in total. $100 goes to first place. Second place gets $50. Third and fourth gets $25 apiece. And the top three will be invited back for next week's competition. Now, I know we're excited to see, another one of our fellow casters compete. But reining the conversation back to the meta, this is a new patch, so I think got to talk a little bit about expectations of what we may see. Karma has gotten yet another buff, Boop.
I think that's
So
5 in a row.
it's some crazy number like that. I think it is actually 5, like in a row or nearly in a row. It's so insane. But that being said, she is actually being played in some by some good players in meta comps as the primary carry. So this might be the week where we stop memeing on Karma.
By some good players, you say. So not including
Yes.
me, but the other people that we're gonna see play Karma today. And I totally agree with you. It's weird. It was just like someone forgot all of Karma's invitations for the last 4 patches, and then this patch, like
Yeah.
the mail got backed up and finally got out the invites, and we're seeing her come to the party a little bit more often.
Yeah, someone was really mad at Karma. Like, I don't know what she did, but they just did not want her
Yeah.
showing up and looking good. They tried real hard to make her look bad for so
Yeah, because
long.
on the PBE she was broken, if you
Yeah.
guys remember. So or if everyone remembers. So I'm just really excited to see what Karma's going to be able to do against some of these other comps. Karma's always done
Ooh.
traditionally well against things like Nocturne and Kale because of that random targeting. But we have a pretty much strictly offensive carousel to start, and these are all really good items. Makes complete sense that the cloak is the last thing left on that carousel.
Oh yeah, I mean, Cloak not as bad as it has been in previous sets, but still not the item that people want. Not many great early game item slams with it. Speaking of early game item slams, one of the 3 tier starters might just get another tier, and that's going to be our Karma player, perhaps. This is an opening carousel. It does lean us into a heavy AP direction. There is 3 gloves, 3 rods, and 3 tiers. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully we will see some good AP action. But something else that we should touch upon is the massive Draven rework. He was buffed as long as he's not using Last Whisper builds. He has some built-in armor shred now. I believe it's 50%, but at the cost of some of his base stats. Like he'll just do less damage each auto, but will then shred and be dealing more damage depending on your build. So I do expect to see a lot more Draven popping up. He came into Fight Night Rising, I think, like a few weeks ago and looked pretty good, but then
Yeah.
fell off right after again. So I think this is maybe his time to come up and shine again and maybe have some staying power.
Yeah, in terms of like style and stuff like that, we were talking about earlier. China has been using a lot of Draven so far, and I know
Yes.
NA has always loved playing Draven. So seeing Draven back for a lot of people who've played since set one is kind of like going back home. It's like that your mom's favorite cake recipe. That's the unit for them in this game. But the other thing about tiers too is they can function in almost any comp, right? But mostly in those Hand of Justices or those AP items. So I wonder where we're going to go here, because it's almost harder to have that many options because of an opening carousel like that, right? Because everything kind of seems a little bit more fluid for a little bit longer, at least until this armory where direction finally starts kind of getting clawed in.
Yeah, there's not much direction for Yukar right now, just a tier and a vest. Didn't actually pre-level. A lot of people with that much gold would either choose one of two directions, right? I'm making 10 gold to start making econ, or pre-leveling to try to hit some good units, maybe some 3 costs on that level 4. But Yukar decided, no, I'm just gonna hold a lot of pairs, hold the abomination, see if I get a brand maybe, and then can go into an AP route from there. Yukar is going to make 10 here, I would imagine, just waiting to see if they win or not, which they actually may, because power of these little rats right now, but it's going to be rats versus rats, and it looks like Ruba's rats are a little bit better.
Yeah, you a car, me a car, we're all a car on Yukar's board, and the rats are going to be coming back.
Wait a minute.
Third one. Oh,
wow.
This is going to be a rat win. The rats might be back, my friends. The biggest elephant in the room is those Tristana changes. Have been frustrating for some players because they feel it's a little less predictable, but there are some people trying to run that Tristana again. I'm sure it'll be some type of re-roll type of situation as we're going over to caster with the good hair, Frodan, and oh, look at that picture behind him. Anyway, but the item-wise, we got good frontline items. We got that tier from the beginning, and we got our Nikos.
I love how you notice like those such small details every time in players' cameras. Like I was like, I knew there was something back there, but like didn't recognize like what it was. But
true love shines through no matter where it is.
Apparently so. Yeah. And hey, props to Frodan. That is coming up soon, his wedding. So
yep, congratulations. But yeah, so Frodan's gonna come in here. Really cool story. Been working up that leaderboard. Trying, I think might be one of maybe the highest ranked caster right now.
Right now, yeah, I would say so. Definitely. He just hit Challenger recently. I think I had a string of kind of bad games, so fell out of Challenger. I was just checking before the show, but did hit it. Was around 900 LP. It was in a pretty good spot. I know some players are taking a break, from TFT, so not all the good players are grinding ladder, but still, it is a feat to hold this position and still be beating the players who are still actively playing ladder, or the ones that are practicing and going to worlds and competing in regionals and things like that.
Totally. And, the thing about being a caster is we're so good at seeing the high level decision making, right? Because we get to watch. But once you start adding clicks, right, things become you add more work for that brain cell that we all share. As casters that we all pass around when we talk. But at the end of the day, I'm actually really excited to see how Frodan plays this, because as a caster, again, you watch probably more TFT than most people, and you probably understand how a lot of these openings work on a macro scale better than the average person. So as someone who will know the game like that and should know the itemization and kind of the pivotal points, this should be a pretty good day for Frodan overall. I'm expecting at least a couple top 4s in the lobbies, maybe even a top 3 for fight night. I'm going to go ahead and say it.
All right, we have our prediction for Frodan already. Maybe a bit too preemptive for expectations, but now hopefully it'll be able to give you what you want there, Boop. Going into the carousel stage 2, Frodan's going on a bit of a loss streak, but that makes a lot of sense, seeing as though He made a lot of gold early, does not have as many components as other players, and I believe has 30 right now, if I'm not wrong. So in a pretty good spot. And Frodan has been, playing pretty flexibly. Like he's ran Vel'Koz compositions, played Draven, played Aphelios, even played some reroll comps like Kled and Tristana as well. So Frodan will be able to recognize these transition points and recognize these outs, I think, more than, a lot of other players, maybe even in this lobby.
As we move over to Elmond, who is rocking the Udyr carry right now. That's definitely not going to be a forever thing. We got a best in board situation, and one where I'm a little... the only reason why we're at 94 HP is because we have 2 tier 2 units, right? As time moves on, that's not going to be as much of an advantage. Pretty curious as to see how this is going to go, especially since I think 2 or 3 people are running with the Hellion opener right now with the Ziggs initial carry.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of tiers up in Carousel. It makes sense that Ziggs can hold that pretty well. In Yukar's case, it is going to be 5 Ziggs. I wonder if that's ever a consideration for a Ziggs reroll. I think we did see that before. I forget the name of
I
the
think it was
player.
Gubi.
Yeah, or Gooba?
Gooba,
yeah.
Gooba.
Gooba did try to go that.
Gooba stomp, I remember now.
And it was like hard 5th place, just like
hard
every single
5th
time.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so 5th place that it couldn't be more 5th place if you were to ask me. Then I talked to him actually, and he was like, I swear to you, it's good on ladder. And you know what I got the 3 times I played? I got 5th. So I think I think that's kind of like where that's gonna leave. Maybe if, since the other rats have been changed a little bit, maybe you can invest a little bit more power into Ziggs, but I think the whole point of this was to try to get Tristana back on the map. And these are pretty good items for a lot of different carries, right? You see a Hand of Justice, you think a couple people, for me, Kale comes to mind immediately. But Hand of Justice can go on a couple different people. Aphelios is one that could use it pretty well if that's what you got to go with. But yeah, again, that's why this lobby is a little interesting today, because right now, because of how equal these openings are, as this is either the 3rd or 4th Hellion board, which easily goes into the Spellweaver board, into the Vel'Koz too. So now it's all about, do we put these items on Vel'Koz now, or are we going to get more out of Ziggs 1?
Yeah, so it's the conversation of blue buff versus Shojin's Vel'Koz, and I mean, generally people would say, oh, Shojin's going to get a lot more value. Blue buff is playable, but is it good enough to commit those items there already? Now adding a Nico's help into the mix with being on 100 HP, like, Hubie probably wants to very heavily consider protecting this win streak. Might even go to level 6 right now on 3-1, might even go a step further than that and roll a couple of times, maybe to hit the 4th Spellweaver. Maybe not. Maybe we're just going to be okay with running 3 redeemed and greeting it out.
We do have the Nikos.
Okay.
So we can be a little free on how we feel about this. Hextech Gunblade or just a large rod going to be on the menu. We still have a lot more items to come, so we still have the Radiant items, we still have a bunch of creep rounds, and this is just a very early Vel'Koz, and it's great to be able to put some items on it. We have some other AP items on the other side. Gargoyle Stoneplate, not one of them on the Vlad. Great starting item for Vlad, but it's going to be the Jeweled Gauntlet for the Misfortune in the backline, who's going to be able to eat the first Vel'Koz ultimate, but not get any units in return.
No, and what you said, the Gargoyle Stoneplate is a good item for a Vlad. Unfortunately, it is a Vlad, so not gonna do a whole lot there. QB did end up leveling to 6, protected the streak. Meanwhile, Bruba on this hand, I mean, we saw them earlier. They are playing the Hellions, playing the Tristana, and this is looking like it wants to be a Tristana reroll. Bruba's even rolling down pretty hard on 3-2 to try to get some things. I mean, Kennen 2 is going to be a big spike if they are committing to this Hellion board, and with 4 Hellions going in, I imagine so. Misfortune and Lulu are the 3 costs you want. Resh is the 2 costs that you want to reroll for. And we've hit pretty much everything, so this board should, in theory, be stable right now from Bruba.
Yeah, we hit everything. We have Last Whisper for Tristana, Morello's for Kennen, but that's it, right? So hitting everything right now is more of a stabilization situation right now. And as you can see, that could have actually probably gone a little better, but we got to see Tristana go for the first time, and the jumping mechanics are a little different for that
Yep.
Tristana. Khroen, if you want to take that role on.
Yeah, so now Tristana would just like jump opposite side before, but now she will just strictly jump away from enemies. Also her attack range is lowered. She had 5 hex range, and now she has 4 hex range. A little bit more attack damage, a little bit more starting mana. But yeah, she will just jump away from units now. So maybe a little bit better, depending on Tristana. You know, did troll jump sometimes before. She still can troll jump nowadays, even with this rework. But still, people have been playing it, had success, so I think this is a good start from Ruben to do it with, even though maybe some of the losses during stage 2 were to a few too many units, but it's still recoverable. Players, time and time again, have dropped to low HP, rolled it down, hit their stabilization point, and have not really lost any HP after that.
All right, we're going over to That's So Frodan's board for a second, and we're seeing Yordles again, and this time it's going to be That's So Frodan, or Frodan. I'm sure you guys know his name. Drop into the bottom of the leaderboard at 46 HP for this particular comp. That's okay. And actually, if we lose out, there's been a little bit of a debate, I think, amongst myself, where say our assassin players getting their stimmies before the radiant item round seems to be a pretty good timing. So getting your radiant or golden orb in these next 3 rounds could actually be pretty helpful to your cause, especially since a couple other people are a little further away, especially since the top 4 especially are so far away from getting that help.
Spherical also among the bottom 4, but Jose up there, Yukar, both on win streaks, Daijibu and QB. Let's see what Spherical's up to, because I know, based off what we said earlier, Spherical did impress us last week. And really excited to see what they can do again this week. They're the board that started out with that Vladimir, and now has a Wormogs paired with the Gargo Stoneplate. It's not great, as we see by, no wins through all of stage 3, even lost the majority of stage 2, it looks like, as well. And this misfortune is not really going to cast that much either.
I believe this is how they played last week, though. I think Saphir is one of those nosedivers when it comes to the early game. And it looks like we're going to be trying to go towards Draven here. We have some Forgottens. The Jeweled Gauntlet is going to stay on the Misfortune. And that's kind of like that tier start coming into play right now, is that you're going to be forcing the Draven a little bit without even a sword in sight, if you do decide to go that direction.
Yeah, which, I mean, it's there as an option. Probably not ever going to be committed to, though, from this position. Spherical is breaking the loss streak at this point. 4 losses, no more. A lot of pressure is now to win this next round, because streaking into neutral is always a big deal. Stimmy is going to be out of reach at that point, but it'll probably be out of reach anyway. Now,
all right, now is decision making, right?
Abaddon's, we're thinking about AP. Less a Bloodthirster if there's going to be a Draven pivot.
If it's going to be AP still, we're going to be investing into Misfortune most likely. We also have the chance of making a little bit better of a front line. Bloodthirster is for Draven, if that would be the case. But, Draven doesn't necessarily need it because of the Legionnaire buff, but it's nice to have. But that's what I probably would have chosen as well. Assuming that people are going to be going after Draven, for example, I think going after a Misfortune carry could actually be a cheeky little play.
Yeah, cheeky indeed, especially considering there's no mana items right now for the MF. And when MF reroll, MF Cabs was super meta, people generally run 2 mana items on her. I suppose she was buffed in this patch, to be honest. I'm forgetting offhand what the buff was. I think it was to the mana. Yes, actually, she has 20 starting mana now, over 0 starting mana. So I guess that eliminates one of the, mana items from needing to be there. Just Shojin's is what Spherical is going to want. Ooh. Oh, Stimmy is full gold. Spherical being the first person to grab that one is going to start rolling it down.
So in terms of comeback potential, Khroen, right? In this particular Stimmy, who does it benefit the most? Our bottom 4 or our top 4 when they get that gold a little later to roll for higher level units?
I'd say definitely the bottom 4, as long as they are playing a similar style, I would say, to Spherical. One that doesn't necessarily have to be reroll, but it's, I'm going to get the Stimmy, go to 4-1, and roll it roll so much gold, then they're going to take all those units out of the pool, right? The people that stabilize at 4-1 level 7 are going to take all the forecasts out of the pool because they're going to have so much more gold to find them. For spherical, they're going to be a lot closer to hitting their tier 3s. Even just rolling it down to be able to hit the Hecarim 2 is a really, really big deal. And at the point in the game where these people that are now high HP are getting that stimmy, it's mainly just going to be gold kind of rolled into the void, and it's not going to change their point in the game that much in terms of the player's strength or the board strength.
Yeah, they're probably going to be tending, the top players will be rolling for high level units. They'll be spending 50 gold on one Kale, for example, versus what we just saw, which was around 35 gold to get to 50 gold, which is pretty crazy. And a little bit of a stabilization here is the Lucian had no shot, and this Misfortune top frags about doing double the damage of the Draven, which is easy to do, right? Because it's AoE versus single target, but this Misfortune is the carry right now, and we need those Forgotten stacks for the Draven a little bit later. We could put a GA on somebody. We could do a Morello's on someone as well. Interesting choices here. Nothing that screaming, I love this right now. We definitely either wanted a tier item or something a little bit easier to put on that Draven.
I mean, that's interesting because looking at that spot, right, Shojin's going to be a great item, and there's a sword right there. Spherical is going to be really low in HP. Might not be first pick on Carousel, but will most likely be within the first 2 picks. So getting a tier shouldn't be that out of reach. The belt is really good for the Hecarim. I believe there was the Sunfire option there, which is fantastic. But so Spherical did grab the sword, which I definitely like.
Yeah, and then we're gonna wait for this last carousel to to maybe slam an item, and then potentially that last NPC round, as we have a pretty strong Vel'Koz here, but a pretty awful ult. Doesn't matter how strong your Vel'Koz is if he doesn't ult anybody, and that does seem to be the case here. That Hecarim, such a good tank, and this Misfortune, I think, finding value more than it should, but I guess you don't need that second mana item, at least in this point of the game. I do think that this is a little bit of a slower lobby just in general because of some of the comps that we saw win earlier, but at this point, we're going to see those 4-cost units get 2-starred. A lot of them are being contested right now because of how everyone started with either a tier or a cloak or a sparring glove. And so now we're going to be starting to see those differences. And this is where those choices become so important, because every choice you make now that differentiates yourself from another person's board is going to affect your placement.
Yeah, speaking of the lobby strength, and this is maybe a little bit of a low roll lobby, at least up until now, we're starting to see carries like Karma 2 and Aphelios 2, is that no one had like a super oppressive 3-cost tier 2 carry, say like Riven or like Yasuo, that can really take chunks out of players' boards and like 6-0 people. Nothing like that was happening. The people who were getting 6-0'd were just super, super weak, not because the other boards were relatively strong. QB now at this point is, one of the weaker players in the lobby. They only have Vel'Koz 1. Their A-bomb doesn't have really any items on it, and are just waiting to go 8 and then roll it down at that point, right? They have a lot of gold saved up. They have the Nico's help. And I mean, QB has the HP to be able to do it. They're just not going to be being able to bully the rest of the lobby like, other lobbies might happen.
And the mid game is like where a lot of the meat of TFT takes place, right? When you get to the late game, you're finding singular units, you're powering up certain elements of your team comp. Whereas in the mid game, when you're in this moment, the faster that you're able to get to that comp, the more HP you take away from everyone else, right? But because this lobby was a little slow, you're going to see a naturally more even distribution of points earlier on. We usually see everyone get really tight in points around 5-3, 5-4, but it's happening right now because everyone's alternating wins and losses pretty much right now. And you can even see in Jose's board right now, 2 wins into a loss, and we'll see what happens here, because nothing's guaranteed, because again, I've only seen one tier 2 4-cost unit so far. I think there's a second Vel'Koz.
There's 2.
Yeah, that just popped up. There they are, right? So the lobby in just those roles got exponentially stronger, and now that they've won, out on the timing there, that Karma, for example, got so much more value of just existing because no one else had that kind of power at that time. So, that 15 to 20 HP that they're able to take away is going to be super impactful later on. You might not notice it, but that can really help your top 4 placement later on.
Yeah. Fortunately for Jose, runs into Yukar during the pivot kind of stage there. But Yukar is still level 8, 30 gold, hits a Garen, has a Karma 2, and actually 2 more Karmas on the bench, so we could theoretically see a Karma 3 this game with Yukar's spot. It's not unrealistic to have that happen. Jose's board is still solid at this point, right? This Draven style, I think, is super good. Jose is 71 HP. He's positioning super, super well, frontlining the Draven, because you can get away with that. Draven is really good at dueling units. He has healing from the Legionnaires. He's buffed up stat-wise from the Forgottens. Only thing that's lacking is kind of a quote-unquote frontline. But Draven's just killing things too fast, at least at this point right now.
Oh my goodness, that Runins on. Oh my goodness, that Runins. Those initial Runins procs were nuts. Draven's never going to win that round, though. Even though with the Last Whisper and the 50%, I would probably go with a Giant Slayer at that point. And it has nothing to do with the fact that that's the channel we're on right now. But at the end of the day, I think Draven does better when he can get that first kill quicker, obviously, right? But that's not to go without saying, because it's so important to get Draven through that first unit, because every unit after that's going to be easier, and the longer you get stuck on an Ironclad or something, which isn't going to be as bad, but we got stuck on a high HP target that time, and so I think you actually got to see why Last Whisper might not be the best choice anymore because of that round. It was Daisy, I believe, that actually kind of stopped him up there for a hot minute, or or the Abomination, one of the two.
Abomination, yeah. Abomination came out, I believe it was a 4A bomb, so it was real tanky there. Elmond had the Fearless 2 for a while, now finally gets to level to 8, put the 2 Ironclad in, as well as 2 Knight. It's going to make Galio a bit tankier. Unfortunately, there's 0 items in this Galio. Galio is one of the main frontline units just in the whole set, to be honest. It's like Galio and Rel are fantastic ones, but 0 items, it's going to feel pretty bad, honestly. And this Aphelios could actually be aggroed upon way too fast in the fight, not allow the Rage Blade enough time to stack up and start popping off. And going up against Frodan and the Vel'Koz, I mean, that's a good swap, though, so might be okay regardless.
Oh, ZZ Rot on the Syndra probably had an item on it already, but the Vel'Koz is going to have an okay ult. So basically, you want to count how many ults that Aphelios has. Aphelios will most likely get through an entire team in about 3 ultimates, and that's the 3rd. And if you're able to get past it, you're going to be A-okay. So the Aphelios is going to be fine. Even though it's technically single target, it does go to 3 units specifically and doesn't have a chance to miss, versus Vel'Koz where a unit can walk out of it. So that could be a little frustrating, especially when a Vel'Koz comp can technically take most comps on. It's all about where that first cast goes.
Frodan started the game off a little bit low in HP, has stabilized, has the Hodge and the Shojin, but there's no real damage on this Vel'Koz. There's not 6 redeemed, there's no full AP items, and even this round, the Hodge rolls healing, so damage is going to be very, very minimal. The Banshee's Silence is a very good rating item with this board. It's going to allow the units like Volibear and Fiddle and even Ivern to get their cast for their CC'd. They have Revenant as well to maybe get a second one off. And, you know, Vel'Koz doesn't really have to worry about Thresh hooks because of the Lux cornered. Don't have to worry about the first Diana ulti. So the item is just overall super good for this board. It's just, again, the fortunate thing, no AP item. At least until the Stage 5 carousel where Frodan can maybe pray to hit one there.
I don't know the last time I saw number 1 have under 50 HP at this point in time. Like, this is a very low HP lobby right now. This is going to be over pretty quickly, and we don't ever really see lobbies like this. This is actually probably closer to what you might see on a ladder, right? Which is sometimes you high roll, sometimes you low roll, sometimes the whole lobby except you high rolls, right? But in this particular instance, our front lines took forever to get started. And then our 4 cost units took a very long time to get to our carry potential. So everyone kind of hit their power levels at the same time. And so we're really going comp to comp now, as opposed to I'm at this power level versus your power level right now. Because everyone kind of took the same pace, right? This kind of pack, you see it in the Tour de France, right? I think it's called the Peloton. At the front is all of these players right now. There's really no one specifically getting ahead, but I did just see a couple of units get through. Spherical has a Hecarim 3 now. Daijobu did fall, and 2 Gwen 2s actually get picked up.
Wow, that is pretty nuts. Daijobu did take the 8th, but this lobby is still so close. It was like 40s for multiple players. Now it's in the low 30s. Jose being number 1 at 34. Now we get a chance to see Frodan's comp take on the Rats yet again. And the Kennen takes off the spell shield, and then the Thresh hooks the Vel'Koz in. So where is that laser going? It takes out the Trist, but it had to go on a journey to get there. Is he still going to win this round?
Oh, that'd be funny. He might win the round by having one of the worst Vel'Koz ultimates I've ever seen in my life.
That was illegally bad.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I need to wash my eyes out. I would report that Vel'Koz if that was in my league game, like for sure.
Oh my god, the brand wins it
because of the Revenant. Revenant buff. What a crazy round of TFT. If that was your first round of TFT that you've ever watched, friends, please keep watching because that was not normal.
That was weird. That was weird. And you know what's even weirder? A Vel'Koz that's still not going to have an AP item at this point in the game. Stage 5 carousel for Frodan. Unlucky. What do you even grab at this point?
Yeah.
Lure, I suppose, is alright, but by no means is it good.
You're depending on all 3 ticks for the Vel'Koz to do damage, right?
I mean, yeah. I don't even want to really put it on Nunu because it might grief the A-bomb item. QB, on the other hand, Gwen 2 was hit last round, now at Teemo 2. A lot of health invested into the Teemo, but it needs to be the saving grace of this board.
Yep, it's the only way it wins, in my opinion. And then if you get that Garen 2, that's going to be enormous. Just like Garen 2 is so good with Karma because of the MR decrease, it's going to be good with Teemo. And now, again, because the lobby was slow, right? All of a sudden, everyone gets access to the units at the same time, and there have been people who've started to pull away again. QB being one of them, who is currently, 6th place, but probably has one of the best comps. But we've lost so much health that it might not matter at the end of the day. But putting the Mystic 3 in is going to absolutely neuter most of the lobby because we started with AP items. So going the Mystic direction was a super big brain play that's not going to work potentially here, but could get crueled. We'll see if the team is going to be able to get that cruel on because it might happen. Oh, or Teemo's just going to win because of all of the damage. But yeah, I do think that this is going to be one of the stronger comps in general. I still think this Lux is gone.
Lux, yeah. Oh, maybe not. Wow.
Single digit. I think it had like 7 HP or something. But again, that's a coin flip at that point in time. But it did do well against the Mystics, but unfortunately didn't have enough power up front to kind of compensate for the advantage that they initially got.
Oh, unfortunate right there for QB. This game is still so close. The 26 HP on the top 2 players, Bruba in third with 25, and 2 players 19 and 9, then 2. Spherical start really strong last week. Would be really disappointing to start off with the day with a 7th or just a bot 4 in general. These Teemo Shrooms need to hit the Tristana. 100% absolutely has to happen. I mean, the first 2, but they're blocked, and then the Thresh Hook.
The Thresh Hook is there. Thresh Hook can actually make things really awkward for some teams. Could give you a little bit of a saving grace, but the Tristana hits the Teemo. Karma barely doesn't kill the Tristana, and now it's all the Hellions who all have less than 20 HP. The Mystic choice was good up until you actually went up against the Cannoneers. That was the one comp, I think, that really didn't care about all of those Mystics, and we're going to be gone. I think UB might have had a top 2, top 3 comp, but we lost so much HP at the beginning and we weren't able to ever get there. And now all of those units are back in the pool, and all of these low HP players, 25 HP at the top at round 5-7, that's crazy, are going to have to battle it out as we're starting to tier 3 our units now, and power starting to be invested into singular units right now. Didn't quite see if Frodan was able to get a 3rd unit for that Vel'Koz, 3rd item for that Vel'Koz though.
Yeah, I'll have to check in a bit soon. I also want to check out Jose's composition, because Jose is running some spicy stuff right now, I believe, with 6 Legionnaires. But, oh, wow. 3 stars all over the board. That's going to be a tier 3 Karma. Talked about it earlier. It came through from Yukar. Still no Garen, not even a pair of Garens.
Frodan is 1 Vel'Koz away from Vel'Koz 3. Just going to put that out there. We're still rolling for it. I'm taking... Oh, no! Did he get it? He got it! He got the Vel'Koz 3. So, just in the nick of time, we're in the top 5, and that is something that actually might not matter as much because, again, we have Riven 3s. We've got a lot of, ranked Tier 3 units right now, and we don't have the best items for that Vel'Koz, but hopefully the power spike for just being Tier 3 should be enough. That wasn't even close as the Hellions are going to fall. Jose will top 4. Frodan will also top 4 on his, I think, first ever fight night. So congratulations, friends. Bruba looking real good at the top. Yukar, the only returning member, I believe, to get that top. Oh, no, Jose's here. So Yukar and Jose both getting top 4, just like last week. So pretty even spread.
This board is kind of insane. Generally, players will go one direction, whether it be like, I'm going to Tier 3 my Riven, and then maybe we'll talk about getting a Draven 2 later. But Jose did it in the opposite order, and along the way, hit a Kale 2 as well. Now, she does have Thieves' Gloves, and they're not a great roll here. The Karma just needs to hit the Draven like 2 times, and he's just going to be gone and out of here. And, yeah, Jose could not stand to these Tier 3 4-cost units. The Rats are getting dealt with right now as well. Frodan beating Bruba.
There is a point where Rats just can't win anymore, in my opinion.
It's this.
It is now, and this is way later. Maybe it's the buff to Tristana. I don't think so. This was a little bit of a silly lobby, to be honest with you.
Yeah, a bit high roll when we got to the end of things here. Like on 6-1, Vel'Koz 3 and Karma 3 both at the same time. Like that's not usually going to happen.
Where at 4-4 there was 1 Tier 2 4-cost unit, right? Yeah. So it like maybe 2. So this has been a huge acceleration of pace, and that's what is so fun about TFT. But we've got max 3 rounds left right now, and it's really everyone looking at the Vel'Koz. This Mystic board should be okay, and Frontline Karma should be really interesting too. We've seen a lot more people moving their carries to the front line a la Ari from back in the day. Oh no, that Vel'Koz ult could have been better and actually doesn't even kill the Garen 1.
Let's see what happens in the second cast of it, though. He's going to heal up because the Hand of Justice starts to target the Karma. She stays alive to shoot out some more Soul Flares. And with it, actually, is going to take out the Vel'Koz. Now onto the A-Bomb. The D-Claw is not going to be enough. Frodan survives, albeit barely. That was some 5-head positioning by Yukar there. We know why they were the champion from last week. Frodan trying to do something about it. Zephyr and Shroud, both super good items here, but the Shroud is more important to deny. That's going to really, really slow the Vel'Koz cast down. Frodan's Vel'Koz is already having problems DPSing the frontline down before. I thought, hey, maybe you don't need a full AP item if you're just going to Tier 3 the Vel'Koz, but no, it still wasn't enough.
Wow. Karma 3 was able to do it. 3 HP in a dream. Hopefully 3 is Frodan's lucky number. Going up against a really nice comp. Got a little bit of everything there. The 3 Mystics, though, I think is a very smart counterplay. Yukar hasn't lost in a bit. Gwen should also just be very nice. As we switch over the Karma to the other side, and the Shroud does hit our Vel'Koz.
But the Vel'Koz positioning actually will start to target the Karma now. That Vel'Koz gets another cast. This Karma should go down, and it should be a Frodan victory, but no, the second cast isn't good. It might not matter,
Karma
though.
3!
The third cast is there. Yukar doesn't fall yet, though. Both players on single-digit HP. This will be the last round, Boo. It all comes down to where the Vel'Koz beams and where the Karma Soul Flares shoot. Actually, like, not much else matters in these fights.
Wow, 3 to 5 HP. The whole lobby comes down to this one round. We've got Dragon's Claw in the front line. That was actually doing a lot of work against the Karma. The Trap Claw is giving Frodan a lot more extra time at the beginning. Syndra is getting that ZZ Rot and then throwing whoever's in front of her away. But this is all about Vel'Koz versus Karma. We're finally moving Karma back into the back line, and the Shroud hits Frodan exactly, but that doesn't seem to be that big of an issue, as we do get the Vel'Koz better positioning, gets rid of the Karma, and Frodan will start his TFT career with a lobby win. What a great start.
Beautiful.
Well, actually, a kind of a rough start to the lobby, but great ending. Vel'Koz 3 gets locked in without best in slot items. This was a very difficult lobby to win for anybody, and it's going to be Frodan at the top. But hopefully this is not a situation where we peak a little too soon. We put so much effort into that win. I know for me, my brain cell would be very weak after this particular kind of lobby. So I would probably get 8th the next 3 lobbies because I put all of my effort into this one. I don't think that'll be the case, but that happens. We've definitely seen some people flame out after winning this first lobby.
That does happen to some people for sure. Let's see if it happens to these competitors. Hopefully not, as you mentioned. But let's go ahead and look at the scores from our game number 1. A little bit of a refresher. Frodan taking the first place. Yukar, our champion of last week's fight night, getting second. Ruba in third. Jose in fourth. Then Elmond, QB, Spherical, and Daijibu down the line. Now, there's a lot to talk about there. Firstly, I did want to bring up the fact that, Frodan has been a caster for a long time, Tournaments are something that he's definitely studied, but playing in them is another beast entirely. There might be a little bit of, tournament fatigue when it comes to this, I'll say, relatively new atmosphere, to be in and compete in. Have to think about everything about the game as well as, making all his clicks, we talked about before. But he certainly showed dominance in that first game, as he didn't start off the game in a really dominant position. He was going for econ, dropped very low in HP, and then hit the Vel'Koz transition point and played to the win condition of the Vel'Koz 3. And that is not an easy thing to do, especially while being in that stressful of a situation. And on top of that, the stressful situation positioned the Vel'Koz perfectly, even responded to Yukar's repositioning of the Karma, and then moved the Vel'Koz like split second before the round started. Everything was just, beautifully played there by Frodan.
Who would have thought that our first lobby would have come down to Karma 3, Vel'Koz 3, and it being that thrilling as well.
Yeah.
That 1v1 was super fun to watch. That's something that I think I could have watched 10 more rounds of that, to be completely honest with you. That repositioning every single round, you got the shrouds,
Yeah.
you've got, you got everything, you need for great last couple rounds of TFT, and that's exactly what we saw. But again, honestly, mad props to Frodan and that lobby. That was a battle royale in its realest form when it comes to a TFT lobby. And Yukar was playing very well too. Was doing really well positioning, locked in that Karma pretty early. And it's, this is going to be a really great day of games. I wonder how close it's going to be again at the end. But right now, I think that you've got the momentum, right? You've got the energy, and you've proven that, you belong here, right? So now it's all about just recreating that and proving once again through the next 3 lobbies, because again, a top 3 here would be amazing for any first-time player.
Oh, 100%. And Yukar is still on pace. Actually, last week, Yukar did not win any lobbies. Went second, third, second, and fourth. So, still on pace to win yet again, depending on how dominant Frodan or other players can be starting here in game number 2, as we do start on board with Frodan, grabbing the glove, getting 6 gold worth of units. Might consider keeping them depending on what this next shop is going to be. And okay, a couple of Olafs. Might have a skirm opener here, but Frodan already grabbing the AP option and putting it in. Maybe he's tunneling a little bit on this AP route. AP is good. We saw it two comps. AP top 2 last game.
They were both tier 3, but the opening is actually very similar. Remember, the last carousel had a lot to do with how that game ended up going. Everyone got one of 2 items. There was I think there were 3 cloaks, 4 tiers, and and 3 gloves, 4 tiers, and 1 cloak, or something like that. And so everyone had very similar openings. This is going to be a little bit more stereotypical, most likely. We probably won't have 4 people all opening on Ziggs like we did last lobby. And Frodan, again, was the one who clawed out on top. And so really great. Just super impressed by that positioning at the end of that lobby there. And if that's going to be the end of every lobby, I'm so excited for the rest, as Spellweavers are going to be the name of the game right at the current time, which again is pretty similar to what we started out with last time with our blue buff Zig start.
Frodan having a Kled too, another Kled in the shop. Might be thinking about a Kled reroll as well. I did watch him actually play a game of Kled reroll where he's like, is this what I'm actually going for? I have a lot of Kleds, sure. Maybe I'll pivot out of it, but then just hit Kled 3 and said, you know what, I'll take it, and did. Took it to a first place, actually. So, option
Okay.
is there.
Let's see
Not
where
going to
these
commit to
other
anything for
comps
now.
are. Yeah, we got the Zeeks on the Riven for Legionnaires. For Bruba to start. That's going to be a lot of attack speed to get
That's
through.
a lot
These
of
Legionnaires,
damage.
yeah, these Legionnaires aren't super skinny either. Riven can take a little bit. All of them can kind of spread the love a little bit, with Irelia being the most tanky of them all, but that is not as skinny as I think they look. And with so much damage, they're just going to be knocking them out of the park with every swing, especially this early on, having 4 Legionnaires locked in at 2-1.
Yeah. Ruba, third place, last lobby. Starting off, this is really interesting actually, because the 4 Legionnaires is not an opener that's very standard, I would say, by far. But not only doing that, but slamming the Zeeks, I think is super aggressive. And on top of the aggressiveness, makes sense to, on 2-2, level to 5, protect this streak and start punishing the rest of the lobby. Accelerating the lobby with this kind of board is exactly what Bruba wants to do. So I absolutely love that it's happening right now.
All right. We have, similar setup as last time, with just some cocktails to go around after this round, hopefully, with the Gragas. We're going to have some item carrier Kled. It was only a matter of time before we saw this. Already a pretty good item carrier, but even better now. And Kled is just a fun unit, just in general. So if you're able to connect with a unit like that and you like going that direction, it might be, a little off the beaten path, but go for it. You might find a lot of success. Kled can hold any item that's not necessarily AP. So not truly item agnostic, but if you're going to be going AD, or you're going to be going skirms, or even tank, right? Clay can do
Yeah.
whatever he wants in that situation.
Baruba having a 5th Legionnaire on the bench. Are we going to see another 6th Legionnaire board? I mean, Jose did run it last game. Unfortunately for him, there was a lot more cap boards out there. But that's the kind of board, Jose's 6th Legionnaire board, that actually could win the lobby, I think, in maybe a different, bit lower roll of one. Baruba could go a similar direction here.
Oh, we have a Draconic player for the first time in a fortnight, is what it seems. But we're going to see the Varus with the Deathblade and the bow. That could be going on to an Aphelios a little bit later with that Ranger comp. But, going up against these Legionnaires, it's a race, right? Who can do more damage faster? And right now it's those Legionnaires who are going to need to be tier 2'd shortly, but not right now.
No gold, no econ, only 1 gold from winning the round. There is a Riven, though, on this carousel. Yeah, Bruba's hovering it with the mouse. I mean, look at the look on his face there. Definitely wants it, but it's a 3 cost with the sword, so probably won't be able to get around to it. There is a spat as well for anybody who might be tempted by it. With AP being really good, Spellweaver spat is super tempting.
Yeah, Spellweaver is like a nice splash just in general. Helps the entire team. But the spatula is going to actually stay on the carousel, which is something that my friends in Plat and Below has probably never seen before.
Oh boy,
Spats are fun. They cause me to lose a lot, but they're fun. My definition of fun is a little different than yours, I think. But at the end of the day, spatulas are spatulas. But I'm really intrigued by this Varus comp. There has been, I think, not giantslayer, but the TFT Twitter posted a Sejuani Varus kind of situation on their Twitters. And so I wonder if we're going to be moving into that direction at all, or if this is going to be a little bit more traditional on the Ranger end. And again, Ash did get buffed as well. So we're going to get a little bit more productivity out of her.
What do we know? What do we see here? It's going to be Varus versus Varus, actually, both being tier 1. There is a pair of Varuses from QB, and the Ash is going to be a little bit better than the Vayne. AD buff and just having CC is very, very good for this board. Jose going loss win isn't particularly good, but at least is able to make 20 gold here. It's not the end of the world. And while this might not be a Varus reroll composition, it can still transition into a lot of other good AD options. It still could be Draven. It could be Jax. It could be Aphelios. There's a lot of options here.
Yeah, no skirms so far today. We got some
True.
potential openings there, as I think that's spherical with the 3 skirmishers right
Yeah.
now. But
6 Scrim did get buffed as well,
yeah,
actually, into this patch.
with the sole purpose of being better in the late game. And in order to be in the late game, you got to be in the game, which hasn't really happened just yet. We'll see if that Nidalee Lee Sin board. Oh, this one will stay with
Yeah, here
that
we go.
skirmisher, and it's going to be all up to Olaf. And Olaf's a great person to put your hope in the early game, especially with these items, which again seem to be the preferred item of choice for a lot of our AD units. I did like the Runins on the Draven earlier, by the way. That was fun to see. But with the Hand of Justice and the Runins, again, pretty flexible, but always going to be going on that AD unit.
Jose completing the full pattern of loss, win, loss, win, loss. 80 health as well. No one's full loose streaking, it looks like, in this lobby. Maybe QB did, but had some decent losses. Generally, players are super weak. In 5 losses, they might be in the 60s range for HP. Almond maybe taking out Udyr here, looking like they might want to still flirt with the idea of A-Bomb Draconics, but no Draconics, just A-Bomb on the board. And 3 tiers out of 5 components already for Elmond. This is certainly going to be an AP board between Karma or Vel'Koz. It could just be an Archangel Slam. Good for Vel'Koz, not necessarily great for Karma, however, so we might wait a little bit to commit.
If Mort was a politician, his platform would be stop putting Archangels on Karma.
Yeah.
I think he really wants everyone to stop that. So I try to say it as many times as possible. And with that tier, again, there are some options. We could slam the Archangels for something a little bit later, because again, Ziggs, just like how Kled can help with tanks and attack damage, Ziggs can hold every AP item well. And we're going to put the Gargoyles onto the Poppy in the front line to give this Ziggs just a little bit more time to work, to take a couple units down or more.
Might be able to do so. Callista maybe wants to find a way to put it in, but I mean, there's Knights, there's Brawlers, and there's Ziggs for Hellion. There's not really any way to fit the Callista in, unless Almond was going to level up. Not protecting any win streak, though, is going to dissuade that from happening. And okay, the Archangel Slam is happening. I think Almond thinks that might be the difference of this fight between Archangel Slam or not. And so I actually like that Slam. It does, once again, though, limit the options that Asher went through. The Ziggs there looks like, because she died. Varus goes down, and Elmond starts back up the win streak.
Do you think Nunu tastes what he's eating? Have you ever thought of that?
You know, unsurprisingly, I think I've not thought about that until the point where you've just asked.
Yeah.
I think it's like yes, but it's, you know, when you have like a burnt tongue and things just like don't really taste like anything, that's probably Nunu. He's just like eating so much, he's just kind of
Do you think there's a name for it? Like, you know, there's vegetarians, there's vegans, you know, what would you call Nunu? I don't know.
I'm gonna make up something for it, honestly. It's just eat whatever, whenever, wherever.
So just me. Okay, a Boopatarian. Got it. All right, so we've got Nunus across the way. We got attack speed, one of my favorite items on one of my favorite units, which is that Fiddlesticks with the Frozen Heart. Frozen Heart's so good on Fiddlesticks, and Diana specifically. We have a couple of Fiddlesticks that I think might show up a little bit later, but this is a pretty big abomination as well with just that Frozen Heart, and that's going to be enough to take down this Poppy.
Yeah, Poppy 1 will be able to, barely not get the kill on the Callista. Won't get another cast, I don't believe. Ruba protects the full 100 HP. Elmond cannot start the streak back up again, unfortunately. But Ruba having 4 A-Bomb at this point is super, super early. And I really, really love that. I think the Frozen Heart Slam as well is just, alright, I might not be playing to win this lobby, but I am going to play this win streak and use my aura items, right, with the Zeeks, the Frozen Heart for enemy debuff aura, and play for the top 4. I think that's so, so smart from that position.
All right. Jose already has Oh my goodness, Frodan's running Draconic 5.
5 Draconic?
Yeah, Draconic.
Oh.
When I honestly could not tell you the last time we saw that.
It's been months.
And if I can't remember, right, because that's like my thing.
Yeah, then you know it's been a
Yeah,
long time.
yeah, exactly. I remember everything I don't need to remember, my friends. It really stinks for my husband. I win most arguments, but I don't know where my keys are. Poor guy. Anyway, the Varus here with the Giant Slayer. Love that item, especially now with some of our frontliners being a little bit more vulnerable to it. I actually think it's going to be pretty helpful here with the Varus too, but we got to get out of that CC. Oh no, it's going to be the Olaf. Not enough attack speed there for that Varus. And, the one thing that really, can be bothersome about that unit is the fact that he has to stop auto-attacking to ult. And that takes away a good amount of DPS, to be honest with you, because he ramps it back up after he starts auto-attacking again, but the time it takes for him to ult is just sometimes a little too long.
Yeah, those are the situations where Olaf thrives in, when there's not enough pure damage output, and he's just sitting on low HP, life stealing it back up, and outputting a lot of damage because attack speed's so high. That is why Olaf is so good in the early game, and a large part of the reason why this 3 skirm board is doing so well. Spherical is off to a better start than we've usually seen him in. Used to Spherical kind of tanking a lot of damage early. Now the Titans goes on Olaf 2. He's going to be able to be a carry throughout maybe even midway through stage 4. This could be a situation where we're like going level 8 on 4-5 and then pivoting over to a Jax or something like that and still have a healthy amount of HP left.
Yeah, and we're seeing that Titans too popping up, which was a little bit of like literally everyone was building it last week and the week before on whatever unit was their carry. We saw a good amount of Titans, Draven, and Aphelios for a couple weeks. So we're going to be seeing something potentially similar here with the Titans and the Runins along with that Hodge. Where do you think those items are going to end up living at the end of the day, Khroen?
Yeah, definitely. It could be Ukshan. It could be Jax. Those two are definitely standing out to me as the front runners. With these specific ones, with Jax, you might want a little bit more healing than just a Hodge, but still gonna be okay. But now we're coming to one of my favorite parts of the game, Boop. It is going to be the Radiant Armory. Let's see what Spherical and others are going to be presented with. Still some decent Jax items between Guardian Archangel and Renan's Tempest, but also Banshee Silence, giantslayer, all really good options.
Mm-hmm. The choice is, do I invest more damage or do I invest more utility, right? I love Banshee Silence. It fits into every comp. It's free CC, right? Probably not the Guardian Archangel, but the Demon Slayer could be a nice little pickup as well, seeing that there is already an A-Bomb 4 in the game, but it's going to be more HP. So usually what you see, right, is you see one or the other. If you get your attack damage items first, the Radiant item will probably be some type of utility or defensive item, and then the opposite for, getting your belts off first.
What this tells me is Spherical might actually want to go the Ranger route and go for Aphelios Ukshan. You can run Nightbringer 4 and Lee Sin can be that front line, and now having the Radiant Warmogs is going to be the front line that Spherical needs him to be in that situation, and it's just going to be good enough to find some round wins right now as well. Lee Sin attack speed slows are super good, got to the backline to Aphelios. Jose takes another loss. Spherical bullying us to the lobby even still.
We're going to Wolves now. Poppy comes up to that tier 2 unit, and now we're going to have to start making some decisions, right? We have the Nautilus, we have the Rel, so it does feel like a Jax is going to be coming here pretty soon, but we'll make sure to get that back once that carry comes through. Sunfire Cape going to be left off on the bench. We've got that Rel and Nautilus here as well, but this one going to be with that Radiant Rageblade along with that Giant Slayer, and we have got some good tank items on the bench now too.
Oh. All right, Aphelios can hold these items. 5 redeemed on the board. Not gonna go rolling for a 6th, it looks like. Yukar is just content with being on a 6 streak, 90 HP. It's okay to lose some rounds at this point in the game now. The decision is probably between Bramble and Gargoyles. Gonna scout to see how many IEs, how many crits you need to be negating with the Brambles. Isn't seeing too many crit items, actually.
I don't want to cause any concern. And
There's
I know we've been talking about Frodan a lot, but He just locked in his Heimer. He's got Vel'Koz. I mean, like, he's got pretty much everything he needs for this to transition into Vel'Koz Heimer a little bit later. Loses again, maybe needs to get some more powerful units, but things are going okay. Things are going okay
Yeah.
right now. And on Draconic, it's all about when you come out of it, right? All off Fortune. Getting into it is a lot easier now. There's more units ever since the half set. But getting out of it is where the challenge really comes from. We have 5 Draconic, 4 Spellweaver. I have probably lost more LP running this specific comp than any other, so I'm really interested to see what Frodan is going to be doing here at this point, because there are a lot of options, and analysis paralysis can definitely happen when you've got all that on the bench. You've got things that you got to shop through. We have items that we need to get through, and we've got potential spatula plays too.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's gonna have to be take some of these Draconics out. And okay, Frodan's landed on a pretty good board here. Is still running 3 Draconic, but 4 Spellweaver. Has found the Teemo in here. Now Teemo's not giving like 4 Invoker or anything like that. And there's still so many items that Frodan has on bench. The Stimmy gave components as well as a Spatula. Could go for 6 Spellweavers this game. This could very well be an option, because we are going to want Fiddle in this board. Fiddle Spellweaver is one of the best carriers of it. Even as of right now, with going to 8, slamming the Giant Slayer on the Vel'Koz, Frodan has seemingly stabilized, albeit it is against a board that is level 750 gold, saving their money. But if Frodan can get a Rod on this next carousel, land on a Vel'Koz 2, and fit this Fiddle in, this is all of a sudden going to be the strongest board by far in the game.
Khroen, I feel the magic, man. Do you feel it? I kind of feel it. Sometimes the world is like, I want you to succeed. And whenever a Draconic player ends up winning a round like that, especially I think it was by 6 units, you're gonna be a little concerned for the rest of the lobby. We didn't get any upgrades there that are really gonna help us out, but it's really up to this next carousel to get things going. We do have a reforging opportunity with that sparring glove. If we don't land on that large rod here for the carousel, we will be picking first, regardless with a win or loss, as the Varus is still here.
Yeah. And I mean, Yukar's 90 HP.
Yeah.
On a win streak.
Yeah.
It's going to be brought to an end now, but the Varus is still a really good carry, again, until that 4-5, where Yukar would probably level up and try to get out of it at this point. Maybe with a Kale. Speaking of Kale, there's one on the carousel.
There's a Kale on the carousel. I always grab the Kale. I have a problem. I don't know why I do it. I just kind of like lock into it. I only have eyes for Kale, right? Unfortunately, it is unrequited, as it's.
No.
I know, right? I wonder, 6 Spellweaver might be on the menu here. What he did grab?
Likely.
Yeah, he did grab the large rod. So we were going 6 Spellweaver, and we have seen, I believe, 6 Spellweaver is undefeated. When we see it. So if we do get to see it,
there's the Ziggs.
The history tells us that Frodan will top 2 most likely.
All right, rolled past the Ziggs, so maybe we're not going to be seeing 4 Spellweaver as of yet. But as a Volibear, still making improvements to the board. So we'll check in with it, see how far that goes a bit later. As now there's a Heimer carry from Elmond, and it has 3 items, but Heimer is still Heimer, even though he's gotten buffed. Let's see if he's going to be able to do enough damage. Not quite.
I mean, good amount. At least it helps us with a couple units to get taken down. That Rel is pretty scary with the Titans and Sunfire. That Sunfire proc is going to be something that you can't ignore, as we finally get our Stimmy, and the Spat is going to come from the Stimmy, along with a potential Rage Blade. We do have a Spellweaver Spat, like you said. So everyone going to be getting that Spatula, and everyone knows that it's coming. So where are we going to go? As Heimerdier 2 appears for Frodan, sitting at 19 HP.
But now there's not going to be that many Vel'Kozes for the other players. Elmond trying to go for it. Okay, hits a Teemo. No Invoker at this point. It's just such an awkward pivot. I mean, it's gonna be working out. Oh, Yukar's still running the Varus actually while being at level 8.
You know, there was a hot second where someone remember when Varus Akshan took 2 lobbies, like took 2 second places, and then we never saw it again.
Yeah,
in one of our one of our
remember
fight
that actually.
nights. Yeah,
Yeah.
and so what was cool about that was the fact that the Bless from Varus works on Akshan's ultimate, as we're going to get a win from Elmon there as we see our Teemos come into play. Just 3 Spellweavers here. Uh, we could have had 6 for Frodan, who now
Yeah.
has the Vel'Koz 2 and the Heimer 2 on their board. And we're getting some tanks now for everybody else. Yukar getting that Sejuani, that should be really nice. As we go back to Saphircool, who's running 4 Knights, 3 Ironclads, and those Skirms.
Here we go. Fortnite Jax is on the table here. A couple of Viegos as well, but no Jax too. Spherical is not in a great spot right now. Definitely. It's a Volibear. Really just needs to hit the Jax. Where is it? Oh, there is a... Could it be a Fawn? It is.
It really stinks when you can build a Fawn, but you still don't have your main carry unit.
Yeah, here we go. Finally.
We finally got there. We got there. I love Titans. It's again a way for a unit to stay on the board for longer. You're going to be giving up some upfront damage for more damage as the round goes on, especially with that Runins. If you get caught up on a rel or something, the Runins is a really great way to continue to contribute to the board without necessarily having to target the right unit.
All right, we're going to have 4 Knights, 3 Ironclads, and some Skirmishers, as Bruba is only on Vel'Koz 1. Looking like a good fight for Spherical.
Unfortunate timing on that ult from Viego. The second Viego started channeling, he actually got thrown by the Syndra, who I think was supposed to be the one he took down. It's going to be the Jax taking the dub here, and you remember how scary that Abomination was just 7 to 10 rounds ago. It is completely depleted in power thus far, as Bruba is going to be who we're going to be riding along with next. It's going to be in second place. Remember, 3 of our players still have 3 items and a spat, a reroller, 2 items and a spat in their Radiant Blessings.
Oh wow, Bruba goes 8, finds a Volibear, and with the 5/2 Armory gets another Abomination emblem. So we're going to see 5 A-Bomb. That's the first time I've seen one of those in a very long time. Only problem is, well, never mind. Problem for no longer. We just hit Vel'Koz 2, Syndra 2, A-Bomb emblem. Bruba is feeling good about that one.
Gotta be, right? We've given ourselves a chance to continue pushing our lead. We're going to be going up against That's So Frodan, as it's going to be Giant Slayer and then the Fist of Fairness on the Vel'Koz, along with some attack speed. Beautiful ultimate from the Vel'Koz, and it's going to be much better for Frodan, who, by the way, has a Revenant Teemo, one of my favorite Revenant places to go. And Frodan is going to absolutely destroy Bruba.
Frodan hit another Spellweaver emblem. He has 3 Spellweaver emblems on the board, I believe. Unless one was the A-Bomb. Oh, maybe I'm crazy, actually. Maybe one was the A-Bomb. Okay, it looks like that was the case, actually. Never mind me. I'm freaking out for no reason.
Yeah, these lobbies are tense. They've been both lobbies pretty close almost throughout the entirety. The top 2 here did develop a little bit of a lead. However, Yukar not doing well right now. Bruba on a 2-loss streak, at least 3-loss streak right now. And we did hit a couple units last time, and we still lost. So a little bit concerning if you're a Bruba fan. But it's going to be Jeweled Gauntlet, Giant Slayer, and that Shojin's up against some AD units on the other side. It's going to be Akshan Aphelios there.
The Varus is no more. It has finally turned into an Aphelios. Akshan's just going to go down. I mean, he's not really doing much with no items. And Aphelios gets that magic 3rd ultimate and might win because of it. But no, the Frozen Heart on the A-Bomb 5, a bit too strong.
Frozen Heart's so good. I love that item.
Very good item.
But yeah, A-Bomb 5.
Jose goes
welcome
8th.
to the party. Jose going 8th, which has happened at least once in the last 2 weeks, I believe. 7th or 8th, but
not the most surprising thing. Jose is able to come back from those very, very well.
Yeah, flight has a little bit of turbulence now, though. We got to get through some choppy air, as We have some good items here. We got another Frozen Heart, a Zeke's for an Aphelios potentially. QB going to be grabbing that Zeke's. As we look over, it looks like we're going to be doing some scouting right now. We've got the Revenants. We got, as much as Karma that we saw last game, I don't believe there's a single one here.
Yeah, there's 3 Vel'Koz players, 2 Aphelios players, a reroller for Tristana, I believe it was, and a Jax player still remaining. Pretty sure that's everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Saphirical's running Fortnite Jax.
Yep.
Here it is that Zeke's that will be going on with the Aphelios, who has the Radiant Last Whisper with the Hodge and Giant Slayer. It does seem like Giant Slayer is picking up in popularity. We haven't seen that many Last Whispers. I think we've seen one on a Draven, which was funny. And I think that's about it so far.
Speaking of, I mean, this Aphelios is in the Draven position. Well, he wants to be a Draven, looks like. But with his positioning, is going to dodge the Vel'Koz, but runs face first into Abomination. And that one definitely hurt.
Oh, no. Also, whenever the bottom side of the leaderboard starts getting on fire, that says a lot for their comps, right? So Saphirical and Frodan, we both saw locked in their comps a couple rounds ago. Look at where they are, right? They beat everyone to their power spikes, and they're going to be taking HP away from those exact same people. As we do have a top 7, but from 3rd to 7, we're separated by 14 HP.
Yeah. Definitely not a lot. QB, try to find a way to play this Lulu, and it could just be over the Heimer. I mean, it's Heimer 1, it gives Renewer, I suppose, but not really the best.
Ooh, okay. I wonder if Saphirical and That's So Frodan will be going up against each other here soon. That's going to be brutal loss for whoever has to go through that. They really want to avoid each other right now, as the Aphelios boards are starting to show up. But this Abomination 5, maybe doing a little bit of extra credit right now. When you go to like a thrift shop, you put your hand in the box and you come out and it's a designer purse, right? I feel like that's what this Abomination is that designer purse.
It's something. It's certainly something. Something real nice. Elmon goes out in 7th place. Triple Karma shop for Yukar, but not anything that's we're gonna want. And it's actually a triple dragon, triple item dragon. And Yukar is. Wait a minute. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Pivoting away from the Rangers.
What a madman.
Because of the Heimer 2. Is now going to put the Shojin and probably Shojin on the Heimer and then double lock it on the Karma and calling it a day. Has a Nikos for a Garen potentially. Not potentially. I mean, it's there. The pair of Garens is there.
Yeah, we do have the pair
what a pivot.
Of Garen's. Huge pivot, especially this late in the game. Nico's the Garen. Now that Garen's going to be so hard to kill. Also, Garen does a ton of damage if he's able to ult a couple times, and if he gets some really good groupings, and he's going to be fine with that because of that Gargoyle Stone Plate. You've got the damage from the Heimerdinger, and remember, those lockets also use large rods, so they're are going to be building some AP into that Karma, who's going to be able to ult a little bit more, but both get shrouded. And are going to fall victim to an ult from Diana, which is one of the worst ults to fall victim to.
Well, the Heimer cast goes off, but it doesn't look like it did enough damage. Viego's in the Garen now. Oh no. Garen lived through it, didn't get stolen, but it's not going to be enough. Yukar will be taking the L this fight.
Things are really starting to get close. I think Frodan and Saphirical have locked up a top 4. At this point in time, really nice to see Daijobu get out of 8th place, get that top 4 in, putting them right back into the conversation. Yukar might actually be fine with a 5th. These lobbies have been so close that like any placement higher is one that you're going to be proud of. So this is one of those games where 6th place might not feel as bad, to be completely honest with you. But this is a very good comp from Yukar. It's going to be it's going to do a lot of things well, but it's not an expert in anything when it comes to this particular comp, because you don't have a ton of damage. You need that Heimerdinger to ult, which takes forever sometimes, and you don't have the damage from the Karma either.
Oh
But
man, there's
that did
just
pretty
such high
well.
damage dealers on both sides of the board. Now Yukar's Heimer gets to cast. Oh, it doesn't quite do enough though. These
Revenant
boards are just so
Teemo.
explosive.
Yeah, that was Frodan's board with the Revenant Teemo. I feel like this has just been a long walk down the aisle for Spherical and Frodan, to be honest with you. And again, this is pretty nuts because they both have had these comps for a while. I think like from stage 5, maybe even earlier. Frodan has had to do a lot of thinking when it comes to Draconic. Again, Draconic comps are really hard to get out of, right? And to be able to call it out, and it's hard because you're getting something for free, right? And you want everything to hatch. And you're like, oh, if I keep going, I'll just keep getting more money. But that is not the case. You got to get out of Draconic at some point. And I think Frodan did really, really well here and was able to pick up 2 Spellweaver spats to just get, some support in that way without having to put 2 extra Spellweavers in. And so you're even getting damage that way too. And the Heimerdinger didn't even take that much. We also have an Abomination to help with that front line. The Abomination on the other side, though, is going to be a little bit better. Crits on Teemo really hit. Those crits hit real hard. Revenant buff is up, and it's going to be all about this Abomination, who does have a chance here.
Yeah, Abomination. The Teemo Shrooms don't do enough, it looks like. And no, Frodan won't be eliminated. But did lose the round, drops to 5 HP, and has another shot. The reposition, I think, actually, Frodan there was a little bit bad. Going for the Shroud. Did he get it? It looks like he did. That is a huge deal. You can see it on Frodan's face right there, how much it actually matters. Not having his Vel'Koz and the rest of his backline carries shrouded. Speaking of that, though, there's 2 shrouds now for Spherical, so never mind. I mean, I guess he avoids the whole board getting shrouded.
Yep, he went to
certainly landed in a good spot.
He went to the thrift store too. Got a couple shrouds along the way, looking good. We're going to corner everybody here for Frodan. That's going to keep us safe from the assassins, but that is going to make it pretty easy to get that shroud off. So Frodan might just eat the shroud, and it's all about Spherical to spread it as much as possible. We're actually, I don't think, going to get some of our units and the ZZ Rot's actually going to miss too. Force of Nature happened for Spherical as well. This ult from Vel'Koz, very good. Someone did block that initial Thresh ult. I think it was the Trap Claw in the back. Teemo Mushrooms do miss. Vel'Koz is looking like we're going to pull it back. Is this the run back, friends? As Frodan is setting up for a potential 2 lobby win in a row. And there it is, 2-0. Frodan is undefeated in Fight Night Rising. And to be completely honest with you, I was tuning in, I was watching Frodan play, and the decisions that Frodan has had to make in the last 2 games are very, very tough. And to be a little bit more celebratory, the decision-making timing, which is something that we talk about a lot, right? Sometimes people just take too long to make that first decision. The intentionality so far from Frodan and Yukar, I think, have been very, very good so far.
Definitely. You can tell that they have a lot of games recently under their belt, because that is when you can make those decisions with that amount of intention and have them actually pay out, look good, and you can see like tangibly the effects of how these fights are going. I mean, the repositioning, the item removers, item reforgers, everything like that is just so well played. Very, very impressed. I'll have a bit more to talk about in terms of Frodan's success after you take a look at the scores, because that tells its own story, Boob. Frodan with back-to-back first place, 20 points. I have to say it at this point. I think I'm legally obligated to. Frodan's on pace for a record here at Fight Night. Yeah, that's something that we got to talk about.
Yeah.
With the way he's playing, I mean, he's not running out of steam. It wasn't a one and done for Frodan. He's here to play.
Oh, totally. And that has got to be absolutely terrifying for literally everybody else in the lobby, right? Because at this point, one game is one game, but 2 games is momentum, right? So momentum is going to be going into round 3, round 4. Winning 2 games in a row pretty much guarantees a top 4 at this point as well, unless like something crazy happens. But Bruba having a good day, Yukar having a good day, and Spherical, but everyone looking up at one person, and that is Frodan.
Definitely. Yeah, Bruba having 14, Yukar 12, Spherical 10, then Jose, Daijibu, Elmon, and QB down the line. And it's not like these players are totally out of it. No one has 2 points, 3 points, anything like that. 6 points is still within range to get into the top 3, get invited back for next week. So every single game from here on out is still very important for every single player. It's just really looking at who can take down Frodan at this point We'll have to figure that one out after the break. We'll be back in just 5 minutes, but don't go anywhere because we'll have more Fight Night Rising brought to you by Wisdom. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Fight Night Rising. My name is Khroen, joined by Boopasaurus. And Boop, we've had quite the couple of games of Frodan taking back-to-back first, but besides that, or maybe even is it that? And what has struck out to you so far, Boop? What's on your mind after those two games?
Oh man, anytime I see 10-10, is today the day? Is today the
Yeah.
day that someone is going to go 10-10, 10-10? It has never happened. It's come close one time. 37, if anyone is curious, is the record for
Yep.
Fight Night Rising by Marcel P, which was in the last half set, I believe. So
Yep.
not as old as Sleets was at 36, but Frodan on track right now to break that record, legitimately undefeated in Fight Night
Yeah.
Rising. Two firsts in a row with single digit HP both times. So not only are we getting first, we're also sweating the entire time as well. And we're winning in like the most stressful way, which sometimes is the most satisfying way too. And I think that's definitely what's been popped out. And then on the other side of things, you've got Yukar and Saphirical, for example, playing things like the Jax, and we've seen some Karmas. So we're getting some of that variety, but Vel'Koz is still the AP king, and we've gotten some Karma, but the ED comps still seem to be doing pretty well.
Yeah, they're doing decent. And I guess now is a good time to talk about things that we haven't seen so far. And that's going to be Yasuo, not on the table as of yet. We like kind of saw a bit of Kale and Draven, but not really like too much of them. There's still opportunity, I think, for those to pop up and shine, honestly, even though it seems like it's a AP dominated meta with multiple people. Even three people, I believe, went Vel'Koz in the last game.
Whew. Okay, so now in terms of strategy, right, you can start looking at all four games together, right? You've got 20 points at the top, and so you've got, how you're going to be able to move within that, right? So the top four players are all going to try to play top four comps, probably, right? Frodan might be in a little bit of a different position since we've got records on the line, right? So Frodan might go first or eighth, especially since this game is actually pretty free for Frodan because of his score right
Yep.
now. Like a sixth might be enough, right? So I hope we go for like a top one comp because Frodan has been going for those. He's played Vel'Koz 2 times already, but we got a sword to start, and that's definitely going to be popping out a little bit. Those can fit into some AP compositions, but this is already vastly different as we started with Ziggs both times last time. But, outside of that, you've got Jose, which I think is the other story here, getting an eighth in that second lobby, which I believe has happened 2 weeks in a row. And he's still here after those 2 weeks. So definitely don't count Jose out. But there's part of me that's like, when's the boot gonna drop? Right?
Yep.
It's been 11 weeks, I believe, and that's only been done one other time. And you're kind of waiting. When's the luck going to run out? When is the roll finally not going to be in their favor? And so far, it usually has been as they've been able to climb back up through the rankings in the second half. Is that magic going to continue? That's something else we're going to be looking at this game as well.
Definitely big implications in this game for Frodan, for Jose, and for honestly everybody. Talked about it before the break. Everyone still has a shot to make it into the top three. Frodan getting a lot of gold here. Actually, okay, did not make the Kennen 2, but also didn't sell for Econ, didn't pre-level, was in that kind of weird spot where everything is thrown at you and you're not 100% sure. But with the double Various, I think selling is, or not selling, excuse me, is going to be a solid option. Frodan could kind of play similarly to, like we saw, I believe, a couple of boards do last game, where they
Yeah.
took a Varus carry into stage 4, I believe even stage 5 for one of them, go
Yukar.
level 8, yeah, and then replace them at that point. I believe one got replaced with an Aphelios. Kale might have been the other, at least for a little bit. Not 100% sure where it ended up. But this is a good board by Frodan. Level 5 is going to probably be 3 redeemed. You have 2 Ranger. Nautilus is an amazing knight. Even have a pair of Nautiluses right now on the board. So Frodan's looking to be pretty strong as soon as he pairs these up.
Yep. And it seems like everyone in this lobby pretty comfortable playing from eighth in the late game, so that's not really that big of an issue. No one really taking really aggressive early game so far. The game hasn't really presented that opportunity to many people,
Yeah.
but this is a new lobby, could potentially happen as we pick up some Dawnbringers for Bruba as we continue to gather context for the rest of the lobby. But we're going to stick with level 3, 10 gold here, which is the right call.
Yeah, leveling up means that we play a ranger, but no items that are going to be slammed. There's an argument for a Last Whisper, honestly, out of all three of those options, like Last Whisper, IE, or Giant Slayer. But Giant Slayer, while it's going to get value a bit later on into the game, it's not really going to be super good right now, and you might be more, tempted to go like a Rage Blade and then Deathblade option. Those are super popular in this current meta. So Bruba is okay with going on a bit of a loss streak here, especially going into Elmond, who is running level 4, but is playing Draconic, so is going to be making some more gold, hatching some eggs, and winning rounds.
When, in your opinion, is the best time to lock in Draconic 5 if you go that direction? Because we saw Frodan get there,
Yeah.
I think at like 2-6, maybe 3-1, really early.
Yeah, it's early stage 3, I believe.
Yeah, bombed to like 14 HP, then ended up winning with 3 or 5. So yeah, when is like the best time to kind of lock in this Draconic if you do go that direction?
Yeah, I mean, the answer is always going to be just as soon as possible, right? I guess the question is probably more likely to be, when is it too late to lock in Draconic? 3-2 is probably the point where if you're trying to run 3 Draconic after 3-2, you're not going to have a good time. 5 Draconic is a bit more leeway. It depends on what your HP is at, because if you're running 5 Draconic late stage 3, early stage 4, and you're like 30 HP, yeah, it's a bit too late. You're not going to have time to transition out of that one. But if you're like 60s, you can maybe greed it out to where you can run 5 Draconics, be level 7, 50, maybe land on like 40-ish HP, and then pivot, level up, take Draconics out, and land on your board. That's probably the trajectory for most Draconic players.
Yeah, and again, identifying when to take those Draconic outs, I think, is where a lot of the nuance can come from. Because some people will go from 5 to 3 and then come out, do it over a couple rounds. Other people, like DQA, can pivot their boards in like literally a blink of an eye. So that is actually where some of that mouse movement and intention can really come into play as well. As it looks like we got 2 Varus boards so far. Bruba just kind of running it to run it. Right now, we've got good items for AD. Right now, we've got the IE and the Titans, which seems to be a nice little combo for people. And Bruba might be competing against Frodan again for a similar comp. I believe they ran something similar last game, too.
Yeah. And with Bruba just holding the Varus and selling all the other units, makes me think that Bruba might be going for a Varus reroll composition. Grabs the rod. I mean, this is going to be a Rage Blade, I would imagine. Can sell it for 30 gold as well. I mean, this is the time where you do it.
It's hard to commit to these kinds of comps, right? They're so first and eighth, right? Because you might feel lucky. You might have 8 Varuses. They're already a plural person. There's 3 of them in there, I believe, true. Right? So
something crazy like that. At least 2.
If you get 8, right? 9th might not come for 4 or 5 rounds, right? So you got to continue that luck and you got to continue that push and commit to it. And sometimes you commit and it does not work out, but when it does, you can almost guarantee that you're going to be standing with the last 4.
Very true. Beautiful opener by Yukar. Blue buff, Rod, not a Sunfire on a Leona 2 front line. Can't get much better than that for an AP opener. Maybe a Brand 2 or a Ziggs 2 could be a little bit better, but still good enough. Turn that loss back into a win streak. Going up against Daijobu, who we unfortunately I don't believe have the perspective of, otherwise would love to see how they are piloting these games. Did dodge the 8th place last game and scraped into the top 4. Daijobu, as well as all these other players, still can make it into the top 3 with some good placements. Yukar going to be okay. Putting the Ziggs in there, making 20 gold. Off to a good start. 1 Abomination away from A-Bomb 3 as well.
Yeah, Yukar played. What did Yukar play last week? I feel like it was pretty flexible last week. So
I think so as well. Yeah.
yeah, a little, because I think he played Draven a couple times, or maybe on just like that last lobby.
Oh, I think
Um,
the interview, Yukar said they wanted to play Draven, I
yeah.
think.
Yeah, but no. Then he saw the Draven in the first lobby and was like, "No, I'm not going to play Draven." That's what I feel like. That's what it was.
Yeah, I think so.
Because Draven had a rough week last week, and honestly, not really a good time this week either. Everyone's still kind of moving into the Aphelios for that auto attack based carry, or even the
Yeah.
Varus. But so far, the Draven's been attempted. We've seen it in the front line, we've seen it in the back, we've seen it in the second row corner, and still we haven't really seen it in the top 4.
I believe Jose did get 4th in game 1. And he was running, I believe, because he was the 6th Legionnaire board.
That's right.
He did scrape the 4th, I guess, but even still, it didn't really look good. That was also because there was a Vel'Koz 3, Cobra 3 in that game, so it's a little bit of a wild one. But definitely, people are very obviously leaning towards Aphelios for their AD carry, and Aphelios is still good, right? It's just that I think that it's Draven's time to shine. You know what I mean? If you land on a board where it could actually be like 4 knights, 2 legionnaires, like 2 forgotten, Draven, because I mean that's what a lot of the Chinese regionals have been seeing. A lot of 4 knights Draven, kind of similar to like a Jax board in that sense.
Yeah,
been performing super well like that.
I feel like any ranged carry can go with 4 knights at the end of the day, right? Like, I think even a Lux with 4 knights could work. I think that's like a good 5th place comp if you love getting 5th. But
True.
because it's just such a common, it just makes sense, right? You put your 4 knights in the front, you got 1 carry, and you got a little bit of utility and damage to surround it, right? But really, you're putting all of the meat on the initial wall. But once they topple that wall, it's over, right? Everyone just kind of falls over like wet tissue paper. So you really want to invest into these front lines, which is why you're seeing some of these Dragon Claws. You're seeing Sunfire Cape slams, Abominations at the beginning of the game. But now these units are going to be starting to, power up. Deathblade on Udyr is not going to be a forever thing. It might work out right now, especially since some of our units are on the skinnier side, but they're not going to win that 4v1, especially with the Ziggs getting ramped up.
No. Unfortunate for Jose. I mean, both these players leveled up to 6 on 3-1 to protect the streak, ran into each other, and QB is going to be the victor of that clash. Abomination, Ziggs with blue buff, and actually the Yasuo too. There's like a random Yasuo, not random Yasuo too. He did give Legionnaire to Callista and Nightbringer to Sejuani, so some great synergies there. It was good enough to take the dub on that round. As we move on over to Elmond, who has had an Ashe 2 since like the stage 2 carousel. That's been here for a long time and is making some good money with it as well. Already has 5 Ashes actually. Could this be an Ashe 3? Ashe
it could
get
be
buffed.
She sure did. Not a huge one, right? But did get buffed.
10 AD is not bad.
Well, when you combine it with like set armor shred and then the giant slayer and the Hodge, all that is really, really good. And again, there are very few utility based carries, right? And that arrow is very, very strong as well. Elmond, though, going to fall even with Dad Ashe on the board. And we're going to get a couple more Rangers to try to push this along. 80 HP, 5th place. This is a little bit more top heavy than our other lobbies have been so far, for sure. But the last 2 lobbies that Frodan won came from these positions. So again, this whole lobby, Frodan's the obvious example because he's won 2 lobbies, but this whole lobby, again, not afraid of playing from the bottom. So no one is ever out of this, ever. Those HP totals are definitely mirages right now.
Definitely. It's even the preferred position for a few of our players. I know Severical did that a lot last week. Even, I believe, did it last game, if I remember correctly. Frodan's done it, twice in a row. And it's a good strategy, especially with the Radiant Blessing, or the Stimmy, You get your Radiant item, pop off, power spike, and don't lose a single other round, or at least barely a round. I mean, we say it time and time again, but that is why these strategies are so effective in this meta. And there's comps that allow that play style. With Frodan, it's been Draconic A-Bomb, but we've seen it work with Assassins. We see it work with Yasuo sometimes as well in some reroll boards. We saw Tristana go that similar route earlier. There's a lot of ways to get there with that style, and it's proved effective in many of them.
I'm curious. One of the things I'm really curious about in terms of statistics on this set are top 4 percentages based on when you do get the blessing. Like someone who gets it at 3-5, for example, or 3-6,
Yes.
right? What is that top 4 percentage versus someone who gets it at a little bit later, right? Because I actually feel like if you're able to get it in the 3 stage, the advantage you get is 2 whole rounds a lot of the time from like the 6th or 5th place person. And at that point in time, we saw it in a couple of our last games. You're able to build that power. You're able to keep pushing, and the other players don't have access to that resource yet. And the earlier you get it, the more of an advantage you can make, depending on what it is. Of course, sometimes the blessing bonks, right? And you get items that you don't need. But other times, it could be like the last one, which was a spat and 2 items in a reforger.
Definitely. Jose running 6 skirmishers. The first time we've seen that one today. I hesitant to say that Jose is going to stick with this, but it is at least good right now. It's allowing Jose to win streak throughout the rest of stage 3. Did lose 3-1, as that's the round we saw versus QB. And now 3-6, Radiant Armory. Rascal Gloves look pretty appealing here. Luminous Deathblade would be good if the Deathblade wasn't already a slam. Maybe a Zenith Edge could go for some hard-hitting jacks.
2 hands, 2 blades, right?
2 hands, 2 blades.
Oh man, that's one of the longest running jokes in I think League history, is like imagining the units actually holding these items.
Yeah.
Because Udyr would probably look sick with a cape on fire and a Deathblade sword, right? That'd be scary. But what is it going to be here? Utility it is. It's going to be the Frozen Heart. We've seen Frozen Hearts win rounds in the past, and Frodan has moved all the way into Draven. And we were just talking about this earlier. This might feel like one of the riskier initial AD comps for Frodan to try out at first, but it is not looking like that right now. Draven will win against Udyr 10 out of 10 times, and it's going to happen here.
I always had like a visceral reaction to Jose putting the Radiant Frozen Heart on Lee Sin, because it just doesn't make sense to me. The Lee Sin is already going to slow attack speed by the same amount as the Radiant Frozen Heart, so it really just like doesn't do much besides let him get to that ult a little bit faster, I guess. But I am not a fan of that, to be honest.
He flavored salt with more salt. Is what is what it's kind of like, right?
Actually, 100%.
Yeah. So we'll see if that ends up being okay, because I think it was obviously temporary to me.
Yeah.
But you're totally right, and this goes into, I think it's worth saying at least once, no matter who you are. I know GM players who will read one of the tooltips and be like, oh. Right. So, like at the beginning of this set, everyone thought that, a lot of people thought Soraka was healing, but no, she was just a Dawnbringer, right? Or that Volibear used to be able to shred shields. So those are the types of things that you can miss sometimes. And, that might actually be one of those things where you're actually not getting that much more of an advantage, if any, at all, where you can let Lee Sin ult one side, put the Frozen Heart on the other, and slow the attack speed of almost the whole board instead.
Yeah. Or put on Kennen. Like, there was a Kennen there. Kennen gets into the backline, has, some backline slow access. Not going to be the case, at least as of then, for Jose. But now moving over to Spherical, our Aphelios player, but on the wrong side from this Vel'Koz. Okay, actually, Vel'Koz ultimate's going to miss the Aphelios for now. We'll see what the second ultimate brings.
There are no other rangers to help stack this Rage Blade faster, so this is just going to be all natural, and enough was done in the nick of time that Vel'Koz stays alive for literally a quarter of a second longer. That goes the other direction. Spherical maintains that win streak. Frodan goes to 40 HP. This is our first Radiant Blessing, and it is going to be just gold. It is 2 in a row. But again, Frodan got to go to 50, gets to go to level 8 at 4-2, right? And that is a big reason, is because we got that, stimmy earlier than everyone else, right? Because think about how much closer everyone's going to be to level 8 when they get the stimmy, right? So Frodan is going to get the most use out of it.
It's Jax 2. Actually, he's going to play it. So 2 Knights, 3 Ironclad. There has been a lot of AP just on the day, and I know there's at least 2 AP compositions this game. There's still a couple of AD ones, though, so these Ironclads are going to get value for a little bit, depending on the matchup. And the matchup is going to favor that, so good time to put those in for Frodan. No Draven pair, though, while rolling down that much gold. I mean, I guess a lot of the gold was just put into the Jacks, but still, in a decent spot. Just needs to hit the Dravens now.
Just look how much better Draven is just in general.
Yeah,
it was you hit the Rel too.
Yeah,
like
really
he in the past would usually literally not maybe kill the Rel right before he dies, and gets the rest of his team is dead at the same time. But Draven 1 already seeing the buff. There's that pair, and we actually have a little bit to either econ or roll, donkey roll it a little bit. Our front line is a little thin, just a bunch of tier 1 units. We got a lot of damage though, so that's the trade-off, right? Is there enough damage in the back line to get through their front line before they get through ours? And the answer is maybe for Frodan.
Yeah. The big thing is, too, while Frodan having this pair of Dravens being level 8 and first pick Prio on Carousel means that if there's a Draven here, I'm pretty sure Frodan just grabs it immediately, because then cannot worry about rolling anymore and just econ until going to level 9. And that's going to be a lobby winning position. Even just this positioning right now is making this lobby winning for Frodan. The frontline Draven on the same side as the Vel'Koz. Vel'Koz is not hitting the Draven at all, not once that fight, and Frodan takes it handedly.
Draven won, by the way. Not this even at its full potential yet, right?
Like 2 patches ago, that would have been unheard of result of that.
Unheard of. That Draven wouldn't even be standing where he is. He can stand in the front because he cuts through the front line so much faster, right? And there aren't many units that can do that. And with the 50% extra help, right, that's going to be amazing. And not requiring an item on a unit is such a freeing experience. It makes the game harder, but it also makes it so Draven isn't so one note, right? Because I feel like Draven's been one note his entire career, especially when he decides to take a little bit of a journey on the board, because if anyone has bad pathing in this game, it is Draven.
And that's why we frontline him, so then he doesn't have to move. And he just sits there the whole time as well. It's great. Spherical, leveling to 8 right now. Well, right now, and then rolls. Did hesitate for a moment. I wonder what they were thinking about. Thinking about, please, Mort Dog, let me roll into 2 more Aphelioses. But Mort Dog left him on red.
Oh, I know how that feels. Yeah, my parents leave me on red all the time.
Oh, anyway, I thought you were saying for specifically Mort Dog. Mort Dog leaves you on red all the time. You hit him up saying, hey, Boop here, wondering something, and Mark's just like, oh, this guy again.
He's actually been really nice, to be honest. To be honest with you, that would be a complete lie, but a good joke. So let's see if this Aphelios is going to be able to take any more units down. The answer is no. Saphirical is going to fall. QB takes them down. Everyone, again, this is the most traditional lobby we've seen thus far. We've got 2 people in the lead pretty squarely. And then we've got that mid tier all the way down to Frodan. So Frodan and Bruba once again sharing units, I believe, and either both of them will be going 7th and 8th, or we'll be seeing one of them start stabilizing if they're still playing the same units. And then we've got Elmond, who has been hanging around this point, hasn't really had a breakout moment just yet, and might be biding their time right now to do just that. But we're looking at Saphirical, 4 Nightbringer, 2 Ranger, 2 Cavalier. So we're going to get some shields, but not going to be helping that Aphelios all that much until that Aphelios is Aphelios 2. And like you said, we're still 2 away.
Yeah, still 2 away. Ukshan from Bruba with 2.5 items. I mean, the Thresh hooks in the Aphelios. Ukshan to finish it off. Bruba in a solid spot.
Yeah. And
gets to save HP to go 8 after Raptors.
Yeah, Frodan's playing Draven now anyway, so all of those Aphilii are back. It's going to be Bruba who's going to be taking those units now. Saphirical going to be feeling okay, I think, about where they're at right now. We're going back to Jose. Yeah, the Frozen Heart has moved. So we've moved over to the Diana, who is the best holder of the Frozen Heart. And we've got the Lucian as well, which is the first time we've seen it.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, Lucian slipped my mind as some things that we have not seen. It's still good. I mean, 6 and a Lucian, still a comp. people just favoring the other ADs. No items
Yeah.
for Jose on the Raptors round, just a bit of gold. Could be Assassin Lucian. No, it's probably don't do that. It's probably pretty bad. But a Sin Emblem is going to be the only thing that Jose can make with these items.
I'll never forget when I made a Cavalier Akshan when he came out. That was
Cavalier
so fun.
Akshan.
He
Oh
rolls
boy.
into the unit because of the
Yeah.
Cav when he walks back on the board.
Oh, here
Yeah,
we
so
go.
that was funny. But and they did a little bit of a tech there. So if you have 2 units with items, the one is full, the ones you want to keep stay on the board.
Yep.
The one that will pop off will be on the bench. But say that Spat was the one on the board, it would choose a random one to pop off of the 3 items for that Lucian. Always good for, to remind some basics sometimes. But Deathblade, Giant Slayer, Bloodthirster, actually pretty terrifying when it comes to this Lucian.
Oh, yeah.
It isn't every auto attack that's going to be getting those auto attack enhancements, but the Lucian with 100 extra attack damage combined with the Deathblade buff with that's going to rip through any front line at this point. And I think Lucian is going to be really competitive at this lobby.
I think so. It does look like it. We do have another... Oh, Daijibu. Okay, I believe Daijibu is our consistent Tristana reroll player, by the way. That's now clicked. It lines up. We don't have their perspective, but they're going for it. Jose thinking about Night Emblem over D-Claw. Both are solid options, actually, but Night Emblem is going to be Jose's choice here. 5 Lucians. Unlikely to hit Lucian 3 from this spot, I would imagine, but yeah, gonna sell him off. Wants to hit Galio 2, that's the big thing, and actually Diana 2 as well, and we do hit Diana 2. Has not made the Assassin Emblem either, would give 4 Sin. Is thinking about it now and will make it on the Aurelia. Alright.
So the Irelia is a good choice because it'll split the weight a little bit for that Diana. Diana is a tank, is closer to a tank than anything else in this comp, especially with the ultimate that they have. And with the displacement and the CC, the Lucian should be all right. For now. And
right
that
here.
is still an Aphelios 1 for Bruba. Never got to the Aphelios 2. Ash 3 for our friend Elmon, and that seems to be working out okay. Spherical, Frodan, and Euchre, 3 of our top 4 right now in the bottom 4 right now. Zuikar is going to be using Titans and Shroud on that Fiddlesticks, and we have some damage on that Vel'Koz. So this lost streak might be temporary.
Yeah, the Fiddle's a big upgrade here. He does benefit from the 3 Revenant buff. Vel'Koz being tier 2, a lot of it just comes down to positioning. This is far from a capped Spellweaver A-bomb board with Vel'Koz, but it's okay. The Draven, though, being frontline, I believe this is yet again going to be Frodan's board. Speaking of, that's a few Draven on the bench as well. Only 2 Dravens away from Draven 3.
Oh, good Draven positioning, though. That's going to at least help with a couple units, but there's only going to be a Draven the next ult, so it's only going to be short-lived. Thank goodness, because if that was actually Frodan, that was... Oh, I mean, Frodan did take a pretty big hit there, too.
Yeah.
10 HP. We've got a lot of items here that could be useful. We've got some spatulas.
Oh, Spherical for the Nightbringer. Frodan grabbing the Zephyr. There's a Shroud as well that is usually picked up rather quickly, and it will be by Yukar. Scouting the rest of the board, seeing their position in this lobby. We see a lot of different comps here. There's a Draven, there's an Aphelios, there's a Lucian, there's a couple of Vel'Kozes, there's a Hellion player. There's a lot of diversity in terms of what is seemingly meta, and that's always a good thing, I think, in TFT. It's very healthy for the game.
Sure is. I mean, we got Karma 3. That first round, that first lobby was still super fun. It was super interesting. Again,
we peaked early.
Yeah, we peaked. Well, we peaked late in that lobby, actually, because no one was peaking.
Early in the day, late in the lobby.
Yeah, it was like no one was peaking until everyone peaked. It was the craziest thing. And so, it kind of has tapered off into this third lobby. We've gotten a lot more traditional. We do get the Shroud onto the Volibear. Volibear should be able to ult. Titan stacking up really fast right now on Fiddlesticks. Not stacking well. We are dead, but it's going to be the Vel'Koz trying to finish out what Fiddlesticks buttered up.
Ooh,
But
another
so
cast.
far, they're the ones getting cut through like a hot knife through butter.
Oh,
And
Frodan.
it's going to be Yukar fallen, and Frodan going to unfortunately not be undefeated anymore and go with a 7th place. Draven having a little bit of a rough day today, just in general.
Yeah, got 4th. Didn't look amazing while doing it. Frodan, maybe if he hit the Draven 3, would have been another story, but was still pretty far off. There's even Tristana reroll, now just hitting Tristana 3, outplacing a Draven. Ah, man. I feel like we've been teased by the thought of Draven being good in the meta for so long. So like now maybe he's up there, but he's still not quite performing to expectations. It's like, come on, just let Draven win a game. Like it's his time to shine again. He's been wanting it ever since set 1. Like, come on.
Yeah, and I think people are still kind of figuring out what is the replacement for that last Whisper. Right?
Yeah.
What are we going to do to replace, because we have this opening now, and it's going to be, you
Oof.
know, some direction that we don't know just yet, but I don't think that was it, right? I just
No.
I really like giantslayer on any late game comp just in general. So would have loved to see it on that. But yeah, that comp has always, I think, looked better than it ever performed. Right? Outside of like 3 weeks ago when Draven took like 3 lobbies for like some reason. But today, Draven's max placement so far has been 4th. And, you know, that first one was actually with the last Whisper. So what is
That's
the world
true.
now?
I mean, okay, so there was some math done by Mort Dog and some other members of Riot Team about different builds of Draven, and mathematically Draven will do more damage now with certain builds that don't feature Last Whisper, and with Last Whisper they'll be doing less damage than before. So it's kind of weird that the Last Whisper build ends up placing the highest. Don't really know what all that's about. We'd have to delve a bit deeper into like some analysis segment to really break that one down, but won't quite have the opportunity to do that. But we do have opportunity for another Vel'Koz 3 on the day, potentially for QB night.
Do you ever just have an Akshan 2 waiting just because? Potential.
Very rarely, but you know, QB says, "Oh yeah, standard. Not gonna bat an eye at it. Probably just gonna sell these. I mean, they're not really gonna find their way into this board anyway, shape or how."
2 beautiful ultimates from
Yeah.
the Vel'Koz. Oh man, and then an Abomination at 6-1 actually finding value. Getting the backline of
Wait.
Philios, but one more ult.
Oh, wait.
Doesn't happen.
Vel'Koz ults the little legend.
Oh no, Pangu.
Vel'Koz says, "Philios dead. I need to shoot this somewhere. Pango, you're the only target."
That was sad. He's been trying to protect the convergence, guys. It's the whole point of the set. But Dravens will go to the side. We're kind of just hoarding those units now so other people don't use it. Jose Saphirical, both at 7 HP, QB at 16. And again, lobby is close. This could really go any direction. We still have power to gain on most of these lobbies so far, particularly here for Jose, because we do not have a front line right now, really. A tier 1 Volibear with no Revenant, with just 1 Revenant, that's going to be a tough thing to ask for that Volibear to overachieve, right? We're at least going to get to an ultimate, but it's not that good.
Lucian looks pretty good right now, actually, healing through the whole Vel'Koz ulti and doing more. Jose Paulo has landed on some greatness here, and really, really needed it too, considering his scores so far on the day. A 4th, and then, what was it, an 8th? Yeah, it was. Now contesting top 4 yet again. These HP totals, Boop, are so close. Spherical on 7, Jose on 7, Daijibo on 5, and QB on 2. QB does hit Nunu 3. Jose running Assassin Akshan now. Still on Gallia 1 as well. Like, this frontline should not be enough for Lucian to provide Lucian space to do what he's doing right now. But, I mean, Diana is a pretty good way to buy time as
Yeah.
well, I suppose.
Lucian, a little bit of an overachiever, they're not ones that are going to let you do it, a hands-off approach. They're like, my front line's not that strong. Why don't I act like a little bit of a front line by
Yeah,
having insane lifesteal, right? We're going to be able to just fight through the Vel'Koz ultimate. This one's going to be interesting.
it's gonna be close.
Yeah, this one's going to be pretty close. Assassin Akshan in the backline, though, but it's all going to be up to this Lucian and those ultimates, and to not get crueled. And Jose is going to fall. Frontline did matter that time
Yep.
around, but is that an 3 HP ahead of QB at that point in time. And Euchre, Frodan, and Jose getting that fourth is going to be nice. But because of those results, Frodan should still be in the top 3. But everything's kind of been flipped on its head now. This fourth lobby is no longer, is Frodan gonna just get a perfect score, right?
Yeah.
This last lobby is going to be for all of the marbles. There might be a situation where you finish might be where you finish for that last lobby. But 3 players in single-digit HP. When was the last time you saw this? This could be a double elimination as well. And it looks like this Ashe, slowly but surely throughout the entire lobby, right? We got to this Ashe very quickly, and we're still here in the top 3.
Oh yeah, this is super good. Elmond with the Ashe, Teemo too as well, actually, and it's going to be holding that Radiant Zeeks. That surely is buffing Ashe up a significant margin. Tristana and the Rats, the Hellion board, can they find their way to the Ashe? I mean, Kennon's ulting does apply Morellos to the Ashe, does get the Frozen Heart there as well. That is a big deal. Tristana's still alive. Jumps towards the Ashe. I don't know if you wanted to do that one. Rats going down.
Ooh, man, that Gwen was really strong too. Is this a double? No, it is not. Okay.
Okay,
Spherical
Spherical beat Elmond's board there.
One more round. This is the 3rd time in a row, I believe, the lobby will end on 6-6.
Yeah, I think so.
And with 2 players in single-digit HP. I believe the highest HP win today has been 8. Or maybe even 5, which is
it's been single digits,
which is a testament to how close these lobbies have been, how fluid they can be. You never know, that Draven or a Draven in another kind of lobby might perform much better and get to that top 4. But this particular lobby had a little bit of a hard time, I think because of some of these front lines. Ivern with Hellion's always really funny, especially if he's able to get a second Daisy. But that's not why we're here. We're here for that 1v1. It's going to be Ashe versus the world here, and we're going to need some really good shots from that Aphelios, especially on those ultimates. Are we going to be able to get some one-shot kills? That Deathblade is stacking, but there is way more green on this map than there is red, and Spherical might have been able to win that last round, but isn't going to win this one, as Elmond 22 with a 7th and an 8th winning this lobby, which again just means these scores are going to be disgustingly close in the middle. So this last lobby is going to be very, very intense for everybody.
Oh man, I'm already taking a sneak peek, but I won't spoil anything yet. We'll get these scores in just a few moments, and I mean even earlier than that, we have the scores ready right now. So let's take a look. Frodan, 22 points, but the rest of them are super close. Maybe QB aside, but going down the line, we have Spherical with 18, Elmond with 16, Bruba and Yukar tied with 15 points, Daijubu with 14, Jose Paulo towards the bottom, 13, even though he's gotten 2 top 4s technically, and QB in 6th, 6th, 5th with 10 points. This is a close day, Boop. Close day of games.
Definitely, it is incredibly close. I mean, I feel like maybe like 40% of the time we know the winner going into this lobby a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But while Frodan is in the best position, and if you're a betting man, or anyone, right? If you're betting on anything, Frodan should be the bet here. But everyone else is still in the running to top 3, even QB. Right? Because he's only 6 behind Elmond. Elmond hasn't, outside the outlier is the victory, right? So it feels like this 3rd spot is open for the taking. Who it's going to be, there are some really good choices because this has been a stack lobby so far, and I can't praise our multiple winners, Spherical and Frodan, who got 2nd twice and 1st twice, because look at these scores. right? To have that kind of
Yeah.
consistency, even with those 2 7th places, that's pretty nuts.
No one should be comfortable with their spot right now. Maybe the only thing anyone should be comfortable with is Frodan securing top 3 overall or top 4 overall, but that is pretty much it. Definitely first place is not secured. The top 3 by anyone that's not Frodan is nowhere near secured. If you have a board placement here, bottom 4, you're probably not coming back next week. This game has very, very high implications for the overall standings of the night. And I mean, what a better way to end the day off on. It's been great. And we've seen some new developments, I would say, in this tournament meta. Not in the meta as a whole. Well, I guess a little bit, right? We saw Lucian for the first time and do pretty well. I think if Jose actually had a front line that game, definitely could have got a bit of a higher placement there. Maybe top 2'd that game. Lucian still seems good. Aphelios seems good. Draven, still kind of a question mark, I'll say. But AP comp certainly good. Everything is viable and on the table for our players to go exploring with. So let's go ahead and get Game 4 underway.
All right, it's Tomb Raider on the Convergence.
Yeah,
let's get exploring, friends. Elmond, our defending champ from the last lobby. That's what the inside of my eyes looks like. But
yeah,
that's my favorite. That's my favorite view of myself.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because that means I'm probably sleeping, which is like one of my favorite things to do. But this is a nice little start. You got the 3 gold, so in terms of economy, this is okay, and you can assume that you're probably going to get items on these next 2 rounds. Unless you're me, I always get the 20 gold total, and I have to, and then I just want to open for it. And then
yeah,
I have too much of a one-track mind, man. Right? I don't know what it's about, but
I don't know.
We'll
figure it out one day.
I am like the stereotypical, if the mistake can be made, I've probably made it. And I probably know the psychology as to why that happens. And yet I'm still going to do it. Because I'm unique.
That's the crazy thing, too. Understanding, recognizing, and still being like, you know what? I'm still doing it. That is Boopasaurus to a T right there.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I wear that with a badge of honor. And I was wrong. Elmont got units on that one. So we have even more gold. And this is what I was talking about. You got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 gold, 11 gold already.
Yeah. Going to be 2 items here. There we go.
So you've got the 3 items. Warmogs might be a good choice. You're not going to put a Zephyr on this early. Now the choice is, do I go to 10 gold or do I level up? Do I have something that can potentially win this round?
There's 2 Knight, 2 Spellweaver, 2 Hellion board potential. That's about it. I guess we can think about 2 Brawlers, but a level up probably will come through because Elmond did sell that. Yeah, here we go. The question is, Warmog Slam. Yes or no? Looks like yes.
I like Warmog Slam. I think
HP.
I think HP is the most valuable resource for units in the early game because there's not a lot of armor to be had, right? So you're just adding HP to it, which for units with really good base stats, Warmogs is a great slam for.
Yep. This Poppy going to be tanking so much damage. Gets to throw so many little bucklers. And backline still alive to deal some damage. Elmond starts off the game strong. Takes a hit out of Yukar over there. Now, the top 3 from last week were Yukar, Jose, and Spherical. Jose, it's going to take a lot of work for Jose to get into the top 3 again. So this might actually be the end of Jose's 13-week run. Well, to get to the 13 weeks. He's at 11 currently, I believe.
What an awesome day of games so far. We've gotten to see almost everything. I think some of the only comps we haven't seen are just some of like the reroll comps, like Vayne. I don't think we've seen so far. We saw like a half MF, half Draven a little earlier, if you remember, in the first lobby where it was like a full AP MF with Rabadons and Jeweled Gauntlet. Didn't do quite well. The Forgotten's definitely having the hardest time. Abomination overachieving a little bit today. Not a lot of Kale, not a lot of redeemed outside of Vel'Koz. So we even saw the Varus reroll for a hot minute. We didn't get the tier 3, but Euchre brought it into round 5 with like 80 HP. I think ended up getting 5th at the end of the day, but still very, very good early game unit. And looking over at Bruba, that's also a very good board. It might not seem like it at first, but that Lux and that Varus work really well together.
That is a shiv, Boop.
Sure is.
That is a shiv that has been slammed very intentionally with a sword. What is that, a belt there as well? Interesting.
When
I've not
HP,
seen that in a very long time.
Yeah, when HP's so low, right? Remember Shiv was just an early game item, just to shred not too long ago. Literally
Pikachu
had a comp
builds.
called Shredder.
Yeah. Well, that was like Pikachu.
Yeah, I'm just now realizing why it's called that, because I'm an idiot. But I realized the Burger King logo was a burger like when I was like 25. So give me a break. I'm still learning.
Now I gotta go look it up. I don't even know what it is offhand.
I know, but
yeah, okay.
Yeah, right. I had no idea, but
you're not the craziest. Just like a little bit, but like not the craziest.
Thank you. I just want to be like a really fun uncle one day. Anyway, Euchre gonna be having some Legionnaires very early Nidalee. That Shroud roll on Nidalee is actually kind of nice because of the dodge. But that win comes through. Spherical is on a 3-loss streak. We're happy with where we're at right now. The most exciting thing that's going to happen in the next 15 seconds is if QB wins this, there we go. We're going to have a tie for first pick. So who's it going to be? It's going to be QB.
QB or Frodan. It's QB. Frodan losing the 50-50. That means that he must get a good RNG later on in the game, right? That's how that works. You save up RNG. Save up your luck.
Yeah, I think so. My account must be massive right now, as I have not yet gotten a payout.
Oh,
but
you're like
we'll
stacking, some fortune from like 3 sets ago. About to hit your cash out.
If I had a chance, I would. And it would be like, surprise! Here's $1 real.
Wow.
Thank you, everybody, for riding along with me.
Yeah.
But Spherical in last place, still 84 HP after that carousel, and we've got Giantslayer Ash. I wonder if we're gonna get the whole tactical borrow because we just saw Ash win a lobby. Right now, all of a sudden, we might see more Ash because that happens a lot in Fight Night Rising.
Yeah, Ash 3 did win a lobby. It won. It got to go 9. It was, I forget the build of it. It was Giantslayer Hodge +1. Was it Rageblade? I don't remember. Either way, I know it had Giantslayer on it, but Ash 10 AD buff is pretty large. When buffs come through, we don't usually see the numbers move by like 10. It's usually like 5 is the sweet spot, but I mean, 10's pretty big. In my opinion, at least.
Well, it's 10 each time, right?
Yeah,
which is
not
also
including
like
the tier 2 and tier 3 version of it.
Yeah, so like when you really think about it, every 4 auto attacks, that's 40 extra total damage. That's not with any items, that's just raw damage in a vacuum.
Yep.
So you add all of the percentages on it, you add all the data, and then all of a sudden it's not just 10 damage, it's 40 at tier 3 for a certain amount of auto attacks, right? So over time, that's going to feel a little bit better. These Giant Slayer slams are interesting to me. Because it's not an item you usually slam, but I guess HP is a little higher, a little earlier. And
there is a Warmog slam. I mean, it's going to for sure get value against the Warmogs. Maybe there's more Warmogs. Maybe there's some brawlers didn't quite see. Jose at least values the item for later on in the game and thinks that I might as well just have the stats of the bow and the sword as of right now.
It's going to be all up to Ash to get... Oh, I think that Varus crit on that last one. This Varus with Bruba, honestly underachieving a little bit. I think 92 HP when you slam an item like that is kind of low. Everyone else who slammed items is 2 HP. And I only bring that up, right? Because the last rounds, all 3 of them so far have been between 2 people with single-digit HP. So I feel like in this particular lobby, HP is so much more valuable, and 1 or 2 units now might be the difference between 7th and 3rd in lobbies in games like this.
Definitely. And also with Bruba just scouting there, I did want to call out. I noticed that Frodan did have a Rageblade Giant Slayer slam already. So I'm just going to put this out there, make some bold predictions. I usually never do. I'm going to say Frodan's playing Draven this game, because I know he does like those two items for Draven. And he's going to go top 2 with Draven. This is going to be
All
the
right.
best Draven performance of the night. I'm feeling it.
Okay, I want Draven to pop off. I love watching Draven. There's something very satisfying about it. Like you like feel the axis hit. It's almost like a cathartic and like visceral experience almost, right? You
Yeah.
feel the power of that unit, just like Vel'Koz. And that's super satisfying. It helps with the fantasy of TFT, right? But when you're unable to do that, especially since the lore of Draven is what it is, it just kind of felt like it was doing that unit a disservice at the end of the day. So I want Draven to be ahead. He's the announcer. He's the guy who loves attention, right? Why don't we have him do well too? Because that's really fun to add to your bragging rights and your banter, right? To have some lore involved.
Yeah. I mean, lore is a big part of what makes into TFT. We had, the Dawnbringers versus the Nightbringers, the God King battle. I mean, God King ended up being a fake trait, kind of, but the idea was there, right? Like, hopefully, maybe in next sets they'll have a little bit more.
It's like
more
when you
oomph
add
for that one.
something to a food and you're like, "Can you taste the so and so?" And they're like, "No."
I'm
Right?
like, yeah, of course.
You're such a great cook. My dog loves your food.
Wow, what a statement.
I know, right?
Oh man.
Oh man, this is why I don't have any friends. 3-2.
Oh no.
Sorry.
We can work on this.
I'm taking lessons. Vayne is gotta have to come out. There we go. I'm glad to see that.
Yeah.
Varus is going to be
the
next
Vayne,
one.
But she's gone.
Yeah, thank God. And I'm sure we're a little happy for Vayne to come around too. So the biggest issue right now is the big old one is the loneliest number, my friends. Frodan is poor right now. Sometimes you do see a full roll down at 3-2, but that's usually in desperation. I don't think we're necessarily in desperation time right now.
Yeah,
but we have one of the weakest. We're probably going to get wiped by a couple boards, and literally single unit takes at this point I think are good for Frodan. And it's all about getting to that Draven in time because we only have 10 gold now. So if we lost this, you can assume that without kind of just hitting, that we're going to lose a couple more. We're probably going to pick first on Carousel, which might be the saving grace. But we do get another Legionnaire. It looks like we are pushing through. This could technically be any AD carry, right? Rageblade can go on Kale, probably not the Giant Slayer, but Aphelios could be on the table as well.
So Frodan, oh man, is still rolling, actually. And he's shaking his head because he knows he's not really hitting much of anything. Sells up to, I guess, about 20 again. Riven's going to be the item carrier. So rolling at 3-2, I think, is getting a bit more popular. Just kind of like tempo rolling. If you hit some pairs like this, I mean, hopefully you hit like a 3-cost pair, but even upgrading like things like the Aurelia is pretty good. And as long as you're able to make at least 10 gold, players are starting to do that. So Frodan right now is able to scrape up 20 again after rolling again. This is like the minimum end of what is acceptable, focusing on the keyword minimum, but he still has a long way to go before he's in any good spot, I think.
And he reset his streak.
Yeah, which, I mean, with that aggressive rolling, he's trying to do.
But I don't know, man.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good. Unless he's able to win out the rest of stage 3, it's not going to feel good.
And he 50-50'd on those rounds, right?
Yeah.
Our carry's still tier 1. You never know on these rolls, right? As we go over to QB, if we hit anything, it'll appear on those HP totals. Spherical, again, on the bottom again. Spherical likes this nosedive, might prefer it. Excuse me. So we'll see when he starts to climb back up.
QB with a Jax now. I was thinking, do I want to put these items onto a Jax or just sell it and put them on a Tristana? It's going to be the latter there. 4 Hellions on the board, no Ironclads or anything, no skirms. Well, I guess the cannon's a skirm, but no third skirm. See if it's good enough to start winning. Frodan has now moved these items over to the Lucian. Let's bail him out.
Ooh, that's a good little option, especially with Irelia already in that team comp.
Yep.
It's so weird to see Tristana jump that direction.
Yeah.
But you know, it's better sometimes, it's bad others, and Frodan is. I mean, Lucian's going to need to be Heartseeker Lucian at this point for Frodan. It's all about being the Valentine.
Nope.
And we are not going to be able to do it as Frodan. Needing to take a little bit more from That's So Raven and see the future a little bit and hopefully help him out. But we are going to get no stimmies maybe in this first round, which is the first time that we haven't gotten a blessing in round 3.
Yeah.
So everyone going to be kind of getting those advantages around. Actually, not everyone. Spherical and Frodan will get it first, and then everybody else.
Yeah, Spherical could hit it after this round. We will see here soon. But the Radiant option might be the Mistral. The Radiant Zephyr for QB. Or Devar Paula Stoneplate. Probably the two most tempting things here. It's gonna be the Zephyr though.
Ooh,
Be on the front line.
Mistral.
Yep.
I like
10 seconds of CC. It's good.
a lot of people will put that to get rid of the carries early on, though. Getting rid of that front line and getting access to the back line because everyone kind of does damage to backline units right now can be a really nice option. The Spell Reavers though doing quite nice with our Abomination friend, as it's going to be blue buff Warmogs. It actually isn't that bad. The ultimate for the Abomination, especially right now, is kind of how you win or lose some rounds. So it's just going to be active earlier, and it's going to mess with the tempo of some of these kind of 1v1 fights that you see, like with those like auto attacks against other people.
Definitely. A bomb pretty good at that point with those. Spherical did win the last round, so we're not going to be seeing any stimmies in stage 3. Frodan also lost 2 rounds in a row, so rolled down to stabilize, did no such thing, and now my prediction, I'm feeling a little bit silly. Yeah, I'm like at least 50% less confident in that Draven pivot with being top. I mean, the Draven pivot might still happen. The top 2 part, I don't know about that one.
The faster you get Draven, right? Say you lock in a Draven 2 at 4-1, right?
Yep.
You aren't going to be going up against such strong front lines this early. You aren't going to be going up against those, potential tier 3 units that you're going to be seeing. So again, you've been saying the word tempo a lot, right? Draven is the definition of something like that because, the earlier you get that unit in, he has such a massive advantage earlier in the game that evens out as time goes on, and then it becomes a positioning battle or itemization type of situation. But if you get to Draven late and you waste that advantage, you might win a couple rounds here and there, but you're not going to be taking HP away, 12 to 15 each round, like you would if everyone was still running tier 1 units against that Draven. Good example is like against Hellions, right? Draven should be very good against Hellions, but if they're all tier 1, but if they're all upgraded and the Draven's only tier 1, that's not going to be the case.
All right, Spherical looking a little dizzy right now. There was 3 complete items on the bench for that whole round. Stimmy is going to be double Thieves' Gloves. Rolling it down still. Finds a Fiddle. Potential A-Bomb. But it's just a rock, a carry for now. Karma on bench. This is not looking like the smoothest transition that we've seen by far.
Yeah. Whenever a bench is that full, they're either dizzy or have like a pretty big plan, right? Or it's like one of those situations, or it's one of those situations where you're 1 unit away on 3 different units for tier 3, right? But this is not what you want to be seeing. There's a lot of money on that bench.
There's an Ivern TG on the bench.
Yep.
And now Fiddle doesn't have any Revenants. I mean, it's still okay for this round, it looks like. Maybe I'm speaking too soon. Uh-oh.
Oh man,
The brand is healing up. Okay, never mind. It's okay.
Yeah, and we invested. We did spend a little bit. We didn't slam anything on this on our item components. We have a Rage Blade or a Titans, but we're running AP right now, and we do finally get the Soraka out of the way. Soraka
Yep.
reroll, or as I like to say, Soraka roll, no longer a thing. And now we've got the Revenants on tap. Are we going to keep the Thieves' Clips on the Ivern though?
I mean, it definitely wants to fit this Ivern in. There's so many things on this board. I mean, the Lux is there for Mystic, and that's about it, because there's 3 redeemed already here. Vel'Koz finally Titans on the brand to give it to the A-Bomb. It's a good tanky A-Bomb build, but the way we got here was certainly not clean. That is for sure. And oh no, the Zephyr onto the Lux means that the Vel'Koz cast immediately gets thresh hooked. QB, big brain, suffering the corner and thresh hooking it.
Our top 2 players are on the bottom 2 of the leaderboard right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you might want to check in with Frodan a little bit, because we might not be seeing him here for much longer, and might not be talking to him for the interview if he does go 8th this game. See what he's landed on so far. Spherical at 26 HP, Frodan 23, Daijibu on 30. It's definitely a big split between bot 4 and top 4. 30 HP gap between that.
I think there are a couple Ashe players as well in the top 4 right now, which is insane to me, because that was not the comp that I was going to be like, you know what we're going to see win today after all of this. You know, after all of these patches and stuff, it's going to be the Ashe with the Giant Slayer slam every time. That's Frodan. That's so Frodan. Unfortunately, not cosplaying the Frodan of the first 2 lobbies right now. Absolutely needs something to happen here. Needs to really luck into this Draven 2.
Yeah.
When we joke around, you need to just hit, right? That's actually where we're at for Frodan right now.
Yep, 100%. And I mean, it is the Draven, so I was right about that part. Again, I'm not very confident I'm right about the second part of my my prediction there for the top 2. A lot of things need to happen. Frodan does not have a lot of gold. It's not have much gold at all, actually. 14 on 4-5 on level 7. The Draven could win the next couple of rounds. Is he going to be able to?
If Draven wins the next couple of rounds, things can change for Frodan. Oh, the Rage Blade has already stacked, but we're about to get to an ultimate, and now we just got to keep attacking. Ooh. No, very, very close, but you see the hope, right? The Draven is hopeful. No one right now has a tier 2 carry that I can see. We might have some other utility units, but at the end of the day, the Draven can take the dub against a lot of these comps if their front lines aren't settled yet. And it doesn't seem like everyone does have a settled front line just yet. Now we need to try, I think, to roll for this Draven and cross our fingers that we do hit.
Level 7, rolling it down on 4-6. You know the game's doomed if you're in that spot. It's... yeah. At least we're upgrading other things. Could take out the Sedge or the Lee Sin. Drop to 2 Nightbringers. Draven. Let's see what he can do.
Draven versus the world, literally. And it might be okay for this round. We hit the Vel'Koz at a perfect time.
Here we go.
And now we are going to stabilize at least once, and we get a little extra help with our Thresh, so that's even more damage to Spherical, which at least helps us climb 1 spot, and we're going to continue climbing that ladder if, again, we do hit that Draven. So what is Frodan looking for right now in terms of this round? Because it wasn't even a guarantee that we were going to get here back in the carousel.
Yeah, I mean, he just has to get as much gold as possible. Roll for the Draven. At that point, he can start thinking about leveling up to 8. Maybe fitting in some more Knights or something, but he's going with the 4 Legionnaires. The board can't really be changed that much more, honestly. Is that going to be a component? Shojin's not what he was looking for. Has to roll.
He has to. We've seen people hit. Remember, we saw Jose... Oh, there's one.
There's one.
We saw Jose hit 6 Nocturnes and 30 gold, if you remember. So anything can happen. Here we go. Oh, no. Draven 2 would be absolutely
Oh,
enormous.
he has
We're
to sell the
so
Rels.
close. I think so
Yeah.
too. I don't think we're going to need that Ironclad. That is a bait.
I mean, he upgrades it. I mean, he could natural the Draven next shop, I guess. Two Banshee's Claws for the Draven to protect it.
And
Thresh
that did help
Shojans?
last time a little bit. Ooh, this.
Nautilus Shojans.
But we have a Jax 2 on the other side of the board. And this is where the other Dravens are. It's where Bruba, who has contested Frodan 3 lobbies now, I believe. But Draven for Bruba did spot the Draven for Frodan earlier, but it's not completely over just yet. Yasuo stealing some kills along with that Riven. Thank goodness we got that Riven too. But that Banshees actually helps Bruba take that down. Yasuo, the top fragger, that time around. Loaded dice.
Oh, if there was ever a time where loaded dice, even if it's to get one more placement, you have to do it.
How?
Draven one time.
Oh, no!
There's no Draven.
No!
One roll? No.
Is
no
he?
way.
Oh, man. Is Draven... If you're going to load a dice Draven, you probably want to load a dice just a regular Legionnaire, right? Probably like Callista? What's that table say?
I'm actually about to look it up right now. I'm interested.
That was...
I mean, has to play for every single placement still, right? Like,
yep.
If he gets 7th over 8th, that could be him securing top 3. Oh, but against Lucian 2, Galio 2, it might not happen.
You know, sometimes people have all the luck, and other times the luck gets taken from you. And Frodan will be getting 8th place, most likely, after this round. That's a Lucian 2. Draven 1 will never take that down. And Frodan... Oh, man, that is rough. What an emotional day of TFT, right? You know, from the top, 2 lobbies in a row, you're hype, you're feeling good, everyone's giving you, everyone's kind of gassing you up, and then it's TFT, right? It's hard. It's there's a lot of RNG here, and it's all about how you manipulate it and to find that consistency like Robin did. I don't think will ever happen again. Right. But, it almost happened here at Fight Night, and you got to be proud of how you did on your first time, regardless. Winning a single lobby your first time at Fight Night is impressive. And I think that, honestly, Frodan made a lot of us proud, and it's really motivating to see a caster play at a high level like this, beat the players that we cast, and really inspire a lot of us casters to be, just as good. So happy that they were here. Intrigued to see if we hit the top 3 with that 8th place.
Top 3 is still looking likely, I think, but we'll have to see where all the scores pan out at the end of the day. Still a lot going on in this game. Spherical is going to be 5 points away from tying. Spherical did start this game with 18. Now Frodan with that 8th place is 23. Jose Paulo trying to secure top 3 as well, doing it with a 6 Sentinel board. And I actually did look up the TFT, the dice cheat sheet. It says that level 7, Draven is the best odds of using on Draven's the best odds. Yeah, cool. Draven's the best odds for Draven, 15% apparently. The rest are 7.5 or lower.
It's so funny how some units are not. You don't want to use that unit.
Yeah.
It's any unit that has 2 synergies that have a lot in there. So that's going to be where you're going to be avoiding it. But that is the past. Let's talk about the future of this lobby, because there's still a lot at stake. In terms of placement, Euchre right now, very good placement. Lulu 3, which is going to be something I haven't seen in forever. But usually when you see tier 3 units like that, it is these reroll comps, and sometimes they just kind of happen. We do have Rageblade as well, a naked tier on the Kennen, and we're going to keep that Shiv on the Misfortune, and now that Shiv is kind of blocking something as opposed to helping us in the early game, which it doesn't look like it really did that much.
Yeah, not too much. Oh, the Triss jump actually dodged the Ash Arrow, and she's going to win because of that. That's some mechanics. Okay. Daijibu does not die from that. Spherical drops to 1 HP. Daijibu drops to 5. Daijibu levels to 8. Almon gets Ivern 2. QB, 5 Hellions. Not an even number. Seems a little useless for this Kled to be in here. Maybe should roll. Try to find maybe a Mystic. There is a Karma player and a Vel'Koz player.
That was such a fun 1v1, dude.
Oh yeah,
the Vel'Koz Karma 1v1, that was so much fun to watch. But it's gonna be this reroll comp is really
Zephyr.
interesting. Like you said, really good Zephyr. The damage is there with the Tristana. The Deathblade should be getting stacked here soon. But look at that, CC actually jumps right into the Abomination, jumps away, and this is where Tristana actually gets better. I think Old Tristana might have jumped right into a unit there, and now that we've got our Deathblade stacked, these rats are feeling good. They might get some pizza later. And feel good about their performance today, because we haven't seen Hellions like at all, let alone at round 5-7/6-1 in a very long time. As we go over to apparently Mr. Spatula here, as it's going to be Dawnbringer Gwen, which sounds absolutely terrifying, paired with the Fiddlesticks, and they're both Mystics too. So what a cool comp this is, especially with the 4 Dawnbringers.
Gwen 2 as well. Warmogs, Dawnbringer emblem, and now the Guardian Angel from the Dragon. That's gonna be interesting. I'm pretty sure it goes. Oh, it could go on the Garen actually as well. It is just Garen 1. Let's see, it's a Volibear 2 already as well. Wow. Karma build is pretty solid.
2 Dawnbringers. Dawnbringer Gwen. That sounds really fun to play as, really awful to play against, especially since we're moving her into a tankier position with the Warmogs. We're going to reset the Dawnbringer and put it on to the Ivern, thinking that we're going to get more value out of that unit because it's tier 2. Here's another Draven, this time from Bruba, who again, I believe contested Frodan more than anyone else today, and shared at least a couple units for 3 lobbies in a row. The Gwen is rounding out the outside, and this Draven is looking okay. That's a Jax, looking okay so far, and then Bruba is not. So Bruba also going to fall. So our top 2 actually get 7th and 8th, and that's going to be a triple elimination. Oh boy, Daijobu in 6th, Bruba in 5th, and QB in 4th. We're at round 6-2. This might be the one that goes to round 7. Everyone looking at Euchre at 52 HP, feeling a little spicy at the top 2, on fire. Can these 2 comps make it? A Garen 2 can definitely make it much harder for Euchre to run away for this.
Yeah, this game, all of a sudden, we're starting to see how it's unfolding. Spherical was the player closest to overtaking Frodan. They only got 2 points this game. They're not overtaking him. Elmond with 16 points next in line. Then it's Bruba and Yukar, but Bruba's out. Yukar still in it. Yukar gets first place this game. Maybe even second would tie it, then we have to go to tiebreakers.
All right. Nice roll on the Thief's Gloves. That ZZ Rot should be pretty helpful. It's going to be a couple taunts. We also do have that Assassin Lucian, so we get to see if it is going to be good. But so far, the tanks for Elmon doing quite well. Double Trap Claw finding some value too, and now it's going to be Gwen versus everybody. And whenever Gwen gets this long to kind of wrap up, she's doing a lot of damage. And now it's going to be Diana versus everyone else, and that's going to be it as Jose falls at level 9.
Maybe
Euchre fell too.
Yeah. If Diana got the cast off there, could have gone the other way. Either way, it was close. Also, this is an Assassin Lucian, by the way. Interestingly enough, I said last game, yeah, I probably don't do that. But Jose said, you know what, Khroen, screw you. I'm going to do it anyway. And I'm going to win with it.
Jose, one kind of like off game might be the end of the streak, but this is looking really good. If Jose wanted to get back in, a lobby win is the best way to do it. However, oh no, that is a good comp on the other side. It is going to be the Lucian and the double trap claw Akshan, and with the Cannoneer, that's going to be pretty difficult ask to get through, and that's not even close.
You know what? I'm standing by what I said about the Assassin Lucian. Jose's Lucian jumped right into the enemy Lucian, turned around, started ulting, and took a bunch of bullets to the back and died. That was not good. Certainly not good.
Certainly not good indeed.
Jose
Indubitably.
always, yeah. Say Jose always goes through the units in the carousel, just flexing his mechanics.
Yeah,
A zoomer.
I know, right? I don't even know what's funny anymore. I have to look down at my remote to see the numbers now. I never thought I'd be that person. I'm the guy who falls asleep first out of all my friends. That's me now. And that's going to be all of you soon. Get ready, folks. No. Anyway, soon you're going to be growing watermelons in your yard, which is awesome, by the way. Jose, 3 HP, Euchre 14. Everyone looking up at Elmond, who came alive in the second half, might pull off a double win in terms of these last two lobbies. And this Gwen is definitely being very difficult to deal with, especially with the Quicksilver and the Dawnbringer buff. So you're only not going to get CC'd, you're going to be able to heal up, potentially go to safety like this Gwen just did, and continue your Edward Scissorhands cosplay.
Oh, Elmond is confirmed top 2, which means they'll be ahead of Frodan's points. Frodan is not going to be the victor this week. It is a battle between Yukar and Elmond.
Whoever wins this.
Whoever wins this wins the night.
Who will rise out of the fight tonight? Fight night rising.
On fight night, yeah, we got there.
On fight night rising. 14 HP to 17, 3 separates.
Good Thieves Glove rolls.
Huge Thieves Gloves roll, especially on that Teemo. And that Volibear, actually. That's going to be a good little bit of extra
Lucian
for that Garen. We've been seeing that a lot today.
Yeah. Where did the Teemo shrooms go, though? Where did the Karma shots go? Teemo already falls. Karma, gets saved by the CC, and she can heal up with that. This is going to be a round win. Or is it? The Karma!
So
no, it's not the Akshan. Oh my, Elmond. Laughing about that one. It's super crazy. And as you predicted, Boop, the first game of the night going to stage 7. Redemption for Yukar on this PvE round. Elmond as a Runans. Don't like to see that one.
And it being that close means that Elmond has a chance to win out on this next round, and it's going to be round 7. And so sometimes all you need is the 1 when you get into round 7. Elmond has 1 life. Euchre has probably 1 life. So this is it, most likely. What a roll. We could just natty it if we want. We could also pick up the Teemo. Might as well. It's going to be 1 HP, and we only have 1 life anyway. And so we just have to choose which 5 costs that we want. We could have nattied into the Teemo, but we have to natty into the Garen, and we won't. But it's going to be all
right. I mean, the Teemo Thieves Gloves are good with the Banshee's Claw. So keeping those, not refreshing the Teemo on the Teemo 2 is probably worth it. Garen's a really good front line. This could be enough for Elmond to win it.
This could be whoever wins this round wins the night. Fully stacked items, very expensive team comps both ways. And look at that Garen. That Nikos might be the saving grace right now. It's the only take that we have left. It's going to be Garen and Gwen against the world. And with Akshan being in the back line, they might have enough time to get to that second ultimate, and they don't. Euchre will fall. Elmond gets a 1 HP win.
Wow.
Styling over the rest of the lobby. It will take the final 2 lobbies and probably the day. But we're going to see those scores to see where everyone finished. I believe it's Elmond, and then Euchre, and then Frodan. But let's see what those final scores do bring to the table, because we do have tiebreakers going on right now.
That was the scenario. Yukar getting second means the ties with Frodan. Either way, Elmond, Lee will be taking it with 26 points. What a crazy way to end the night. That was one of the most fun ends we've had, I think, in a bit. And a great way to start out the day, too. I mean, we didn't really get any other tier 3 and 4 costs besides your game 1, right? I'm not forgetting any. But
yeah, we got 2.
Yeah, it was crazy. Both at the same time on 6-1. Game did not go to stage 7.
I think that Karma Vel'Koz 1v1 is some of the most fun I've had at watching
Yeah,
TFT, but here they
that's
are,
good.
friends. The
Scores.
scores are ready. Jinx.
And here they are, Elmond. Slow start to the day, but ends it with first as opposed to the first that Frodan started with. It will be Fight Night Rising victor. Yukar wins the tiebreakers. Consistency is key, apparently, for that. Frodan does get the top 3. I don't believe Frodan will be returning for the next week, though, so top 3 is not bringing him back. Maybe he'll be back in a couple weeks or a few weeks or something like that. But still, Frodan, first time in Fight Night Rising, landing the top 3 does feel good, but Jose in 5th means that we will not be seeing Jose next week. Ties 20 points of spherical, but doesn't even land in the money, gets 5th.
Doesn't make it through the entire set. I thought Jose might be here through the entire half set. Doesn't happen here. Was able to play Assassins for 9 out of the 11 weeks, I believe, or 8 out of the 11 weeks. And
yeah, I think it was 9,
eventually things just didn't work out on the assassin approach, and we weren't able, or maybe we were just trying some new stuff today, and we have already proved ourselves at 11 in a row. And now they're gonna have that time available for next week. But also, if Elmond got last in that first round, we would have gotten a perfect palindrome with Elmond and Frodan. Same forwards and backwards. But you got to give props to all of this top 3. This was a stacked lobby, as you can see how inconsistent the scores are, except for, Frodan. You look over at Bruba, who got 3rd twice and is in 6th, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's
even Jose, who top 4'd 3 times and is in 5th.
Exactly. So in order to really guarantee that spot, you had to win a lobby. Euchre, got 2nd twice, right? So did Saphirical, and that was it. That you had to at least get a 1st or 2nd twice in order to compete today.
Yeah. Oh, man. You know what the Jose 5th reminds me of with tiebreakers? Allie. Remember her? She would do 5th on tiebreakers or 4th on tiebreakers and not come back. That was unfortunate times. And Jose falling into that as well.
Yeah. End of an era, truly.
Yeah. End of an era. I mean, Jose almost nearly got there, but no more are we going to be talking about Jose, because we have a new victor. Yukar not able to do it back-to-back weeks, but Elmond, and we have Elmond here. Congratulations on your Fight Night victory. How you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. Yeah, it's my first big tournament. Hopefully you guys can hear me pretty well.
Yeah, we can hear you. Congrats. First big tournament. I mean, that begs the question of, if it's your first, big tournament, how long you been playing TFT for? How'd you get your start? And, how excited are you to finally get this win?
Dude, I've been playing it since set 1. I'm challenger since set 1. Just mostly playing for fun, though. And finally, I'm like, you know what? I'm playing for fun. What if I start streaming and fucking taking it very seriously? And yeah, that's what we're doing this season.
All right, fantastic. Boop, what about you?
Yeah, so I want to talk to you about Ash real quick. So you were the first person to run that Ash. Congratulations, by the way. What a crazy day. It's 2 wins in a row to end, and one of them was the Ash, a little bit of a buff, maybe a little bit more. Was that something that you planned to run coming in here? Did you have a game plan coming in here, or were you going to be playing pretty flexibly this whole time?
I always play completely flex. I did like Ash. My items weren't very good for Ash, but we hit it very quick because we had Draconic really early. So we were just playing flex, and we got early Draconic, and it just worked out.
Cool. And then for that last lobby, right, I don't know if you were aware, but whoever won between the two of you was going to win the night. And when deciding what to play during that particular go-round, what kind of informed your decision-making there?
I mean, it was basically just the early opener as well. We were playing flex. We had Ziggs and Brand early with a Poppy. It's like the best opener you can get. And we were able to get a tier and into a blue buff, and it just went from there into Karma.
Cool. Khroen, it's all you, man.
Yeah, speaking of these different comps you're running, I know it's just kind of what you hit, but have you been favoring anything recently? I know this is a new, patch as well. So kind of, what are you feeling about this patch? Do you think it's good? Do you think that things are coming into the meta that we haven't seen before? Or kind of like, what are your just general thoughts on the state of the game right now?
So I think Mordog has done a really good job. Like, this might be the most balanced patch I've ever seen. You could play anything. You can re-roll. You can go fast 8. You can go fast 9. You could play anything you want. It's very balanced right now.
All right, some shout outs to Mort Dog. I mean, I agree 100%. I think Mort Dog and the rest of the development team have learned a lot over the TFT sets. Have really come a long way. And I mean, we see it here, and props from some players winning tournaments too is certainly a big deal. But I'm going to give the floor over to you for any more shout outs. So, where can we find you on Twitch, Twitter, where you stream, any shout outs that you want to give?
Yeah, it's just twitch.tv/Elmon/TFT, and we will be hitting it hard in set 6, and we're gonna try to make
Ooh.
worlds in set 6.
All right, Worlds in set 6 from Elmond. Heard it here first. Good luck on that journey. Congrats on your Fight Night Rising victory, and we'll
Thank you,
see you
guys.
here next week.
Bye.
Thank you. All right, Boop, we have crowned another first-time victor for Fight Night, and not one that we were really expecting, especially after the first 2 games, right? A slow start, but then really, really picked up the pace, and I'm glad. I mean, been playing since set 1 in Challenger, just said, hey, what happens if I start streaming? What happens if I start competing? Like, that's what Fight Night Rising is for, and getting the chance to do that and see the players come here and then take victories, like, that is what we do here.
Exactly. And, it's great. We get to sprinkle in some, super well-known names every once in a while, like Locodoco back in the day,
Yeah,
running
true.
duelists, right? Still one of the best duelist players I think we had ever seen.
True.
Still, we got Frodan, and that's admirable. Bryce has been here before, and what a great crew and what great representation for TFT in general. That was absolutely awesome to see. Great, cool caster representation. Again, like I said, straight up, like, super cool for me as a caster to see someone at that high level play. It's definitely something to, look up to and, be like. So that was an absolute pleasure. And I'm so excited for next week too.
I am as well. And then Worlds, TFT Worlds on the horizon after that. It's certainly a good time to be a TFT fan. And for now, we'll be bidding you adieu. But we'll be back next week with more Fight Night Rising, brought to you by Wisdom. Take care and have a good night.